A very good afternoon to you from wherever in the world you are watching. We are about to bring to a close the first ever FIA World Rallycross Championships official esports series. It's round 4 of 4. We raced, of course, at Abu Dhabi, Norway, Sweden, and we round out the season in Cape Town as we rounded out the season last year. Very much looking forward to crowning a couple of champions. Of course, we've got the real drivers, as in people like Kevin Hansen from the real FIA World Rallycross Championship taking part, as well as drivers from various different series. And then we have our esports professionals as well. So semi-finals and finals coming up in the final hour of the show. In the meantime, we've got 4 rounds of qualifying to get through. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me, as always, is Neil Cole. Neil, how the devil are we?
Nice to see you, Coley. It's nice to be here. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, very good. Sunny day, good. All good.
So it was about just over 240 days since we were in Cape Town in the shadow of Table Mountain for the finale last season. And now I'm on the dining table mountain of kit, ready for the finale of the World RX Esports Series. So I'm very excited about today.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Looking forward to it. Now, of course, let's say we're in the final round of 4. We've got some championship standings to show you, which will give you a good idea of who is in the title fight. And in terms of going to South Africa and Cape Town, it's actually a pretty familiar name that's involved in the title fight. 2 familiar names, in fact, I think are up there within the points. Hope we can see the standings any minute now. And we'll show you just about who is where. Kevin Hansen in the title fight last year. Of course, in real life, is in the title fight again this time round. He actually has a comfortable lead compared to when we went down to Cape Town last year. What was his lead? 1 point, I think it was, when we went to Cape Town. I can't remember. It ended up being 0, of course, and the championship was decided on countback, which was wild. Kevin Hansen was in 3rd as well, of course, and Andreas Backerud went down there to fight it out with those guys. Now, in place of Andreas Backerud, we've got Tom Blomqvist, who is 6 points behind Kevin Hansen and 6 points ahead of Kevin Hansen. Shane Van Gisbergen, unfortunately, of course, missed out last time. I think he was racing real cars. Fair enough. Of course, Aussie V8 legend from New Zealand. We're supposed to have Scott Pye racing with us this weekend, and unfortunately, Scott, with the recent lockdown in the state of Victoria, he's actually moved along with several other of the Aussie V8 teams to enable them to be able to take part in the end of the season. So his place will be taken by Rokas Bachuska, who you can see down in P7. So top 4 or 5 in with a shout at the championship mathematically, but I think realistically, probably you're looking at Timmy, Kevin, or Tom Blomqvist. Neil, Tom was very quick, and of course, we also had Jonathan Pye was super fast last time out as well. So Timmy has got his work cut out for him a little bit in terms of trying to take all the points. I think there'll be challenges at all stages.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing here, isn't it? Is that it's not so much that Timmy isn't going to run away with it and sort of be able to gather all the points. It's other drivers, especially with the return of the Gears. The Gears is kind of an outsider now to take the series overall win, but he could certainly take points away every step of the way from Timmy and help Kevin and Tom to sort of edge it on. So that's the thing to look out for, is how well Timmy progresses through qualifying and the semis, because of course there's points every step of the way. For those of you new to World Rallycross and how the scoring system works, it's quite complicated.
It's very complicated. I'm sure it was specifically designed only to trip me up when live on air. So I have help on WhatsApp today. Vince, if you're watching, I want points updates, mate, and I want them every lap. Let's see what we can get away with. We've got some drivers. I think we might be able to take a look at our grid of drivers if they've got their webcams turned on. Hopefully we'll be able to see and identify some. There they are. Look, there's a couple of empty seats. So Orhan and Max being very chilled about that. I must admit, my seat was empty literally 1 minute before we came on air. We've got Sivert Svardal, Rokas Bachuska. Simon Evans is up top right. Simon's one of our new drivers who races in the iPace Trophy, I think, supporting Formula E. Kevin Hansen, David Perel down there in the middle at the bottom. Matvey Faraskin. Up there, Orhan jumping into the seat. Marvellous. So, and up the top there, Jordan Pepper as well. Now, I've met Jordan, actually, before. Jordan raced in Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, if I remember correctly, and I was down there commentating that. So, he's a handy peddler. And, well, I look forward to seeing how well these new guys get on up against some of the regulars for FIA World RX Esports Series. Right, let's take a look at the track that awaits these guys. We're going to look at a real-life lap from last year with Andreas Backerud. So the Cape Town track in South Africa, a split, as always, of dirt and asphalt. In this case, it's 60% asphalt, 40% dirt. Just over a kilometre long, around 100 metres longer for the Joker. Backerud Big launch with the Monster Energy RX Cartel Audi. Of course, he's switched to GTK this year, so he's going to be in McGann on the brakes. Coming up, turning into turn one, literally in the distance, you can see Table Mountain off the throttle, get it into the curb on the right-hand side, the switch to loose now, and then transition the car to the left, pop the curb on the left there, takes a lot of curb, big jump, commentary position is just to the left there in real life, on the brakes hard now. This chicane is so tricky in the game. You've got to get it bang on because the exit here is critical. Right is the standard lap. Backward goes left onto the Joker. It's tarmac on the way and braking in towards the right any minute now to make a 90 right back onto gravel. You can see it start to rubber in. Get the car straight again. The merge is on your right. And there's a dip crest in this last chicane. Here it is. And then flat out over the line. We are just about ready for qualifying. Four qualifying sessions to decide the positions for the semi-finals, of course, and indeed who makes the cut. 10 drivers will go through. There are only 5 places available. Mika Salo, we know, has had some technical issues in the run-up to this event. We thought he'd got them fixed. I can tell you what it was. He's broken his steering wheel. So it's an actual real mechanical issue with his rig, which means he's not going to be on the grid. So that is a great shame. Now, we are standing in front of the grid, looking at the drivers, which makes me think they might be round the opposite way to what we're expecting. So this is my grids in front of me are showing Farashkin is on pole, which would put him on the other side of the grid. So those are the right drivers: Simon Evans, Kevin Hansen, Hayden Padden, Mika Salo, who is a DNS, and Matvey Farashkin. But let's see which way round they are when they appear on the grid in a moment. Right.
It's a lovely spread of drivers, isn't it, Cody? Look at that. We've got a graduate of autocross. We've got a top-level WRC driver, brilliant GT driver, of course, brother of Mitch Evans, people will know from Formula E. And, of course, Kevin Hansen needs no introduction from the brilliant rallycross dynasty that is the Hansen family. It's just a shame we don't have the Ferrari of legend Mika Salo would just sort of make it a full house there. But it looks like we might have a problem in the lobby.
Okay, we're hearing Kevin Hansen may have had a disconnection issue, so that is a disaster if that's the case, because Kevin is in the championship fight. Okay, his car's there, is it? The confirmation from race control. Kevin Hansen's car is there. I'm just wondering if somebody else is using it or if somebody else has disconnected. Okay, we'll wait for the timing screen to appear top right. That will confirm to us just exactly who is in or not. Okay, interesting. We're only showing 2 drivers on timing, so I'll get race control to give us an update on that. We've got Matvey Farashkin on pole. There we go. Kevin has gone. So Matvey Farashkin on pole. Simon Evans has been beaten off the start. There's Table Mountain in the distance as we go down into the first corner. Evans up the inside of Farashkin. Farashkin runs it a bit deep. Evans gives him a little nudge. Farashkin going auto-crossing again. Somehow doesn't manage to pick up Simon Evans as he swings back across the track. Farashkin's on a mission. Got it absolutely lit, but I'm not going to lie, Neil, that's maybe not the quickest line around here, but we appreciate sideways.
Yeah, so sideways, I've been keeping an eye on this and the leaderboard globally in Dirt Rally 2.0, and some, the quickest lap time around here at the moment is 31.57, and that does involve a lot of sideways. So 31.57 is currently the fastest single lap around this track on this game.
So Farashkin jokered on lap 1. And we'll be hoping to close down the gap to Simon Evans out front. Simon doing a great job, to be fair, on a big push here. I know a couple of the guys down in South Africa, a couple of our new guys have been Twitch streaming together, Neil, their practice times, haven't they? I suppose as well we need to talk about the fact that Kevin Hansen isn't in this race. So that is a disaster for Kevin because he was P3 in the championship and Neil is going to have to work his backside off if he wants to make it through to the semi-final stages now.
Now, as we know historically, it isn't a disaster if you have a DNS in a session because there are 3 more qualifying sessions and you'd expect Kevin to be in the top 3 of each of those sessions. So he should still make semis, but it does mean he can't have any other technical issues and he's got to keep it as clean as possible. There's Simon Evans.
Into that Joker exit, and Farashkin has got him. So Matvey Farashkin managed to get him with a tidy, a couple of laps in his first laps. Evans runs a little bit deep.
It's been a dream for these boys, though, hasn't it? That they get a chance to really sort of set in some practice laps, basically not getting in each other's way, not 4 cars alongside them, just drive their own races, because it is tricky when you get your first race in and all you've done is practice on your own. So this has been perfect, a perfect start for these two.
Oh, mistake right at the bottom corner, and then a glitch as well. So a glitch there within the game between Farashkin and Evans. Farashkin's going to cross the line, a little bit of lag. So let's see what the times do when they do cross the line. It is Matvey Farashkin who takes it with a 2:27.1. Simon Evans that was just 1.4 seconds behind, and a disconnection, unfortunately, for Timmy Hansen. So not ideal, to say the least. 2:27.
Yeah, we also should have seen Hayden Padden in there as well. So 3 drivers absent from that first race, which was good for Simon Evans, and potentially good for Timmy as well, who's coming up next.
Okay, so this one then, Timmy Hansen is on the pole. And then we've got Tom Blomqvist, Ollie Bennett, Henrik Krogstad, and Jordan Pepper. And that is as you see it. So you're standing with your back to Table Mountain, looking at the cars on the grid. And Ollie Bennett sent me a message. I'm not going to reveal what the message says unless he tells me I can. Let me just see what he said. Yeah, okay. Basically, let's just say Ollie doesn't think he's going to be on top form today. So there we are. You can read into that what you want. Ollie, I've thrown you under the Coley bus. Apologies, mate.
Did he get too excited?
I don't know. I don't know. He had a late night. So, so Ollie Bennett, he wouldn't do that if it was a real race, but I admire the fact he's gone and had a good time anyway. We all need to let our hair down a little bit, especially with what's been going on with COVID. Ollie, thanks for coming back, mate. To be fair to Ollie, he's missed the last couple of race meetings due to business commitments and so on. So it's great to have you back, mate. Looking forward to seeing you on the grid in real life soon. Likewise, Timmy Hansen, the real life FIA World Rallycross champion, with Tom Blomqvist, his title rival in the Esports Series, maybe his only rival now with that disconnection for Kevin Hansen. Oh, good. 2 identical cars on the outside. That's what I like to see. So that's Krogstad and Jordan Pepper. Jordan Pepper on the outside. Jordan, if you can hear me, how dare you choose the same colour car as Krogstad? It be on your head. There is Table Mountain.
Can he?
No, it can't. We should do. Bentley, come on. You've withdrawn from endurance racing. Come and do a bit of rallycross. Okay, here we go. Timmy Hansen on the far right-hand side. That's a great start by Hansen and by Blomqvist too. Henrik Krogstad has gone with them. Hansen late on the brakes. Krogstad trying to go around the outside. Tom Blomqvist up the inside of Timmy Hansen. Nudges the World Rallycross champion wide. Timmy Hansen trying to get back up the inside into turn 3. Hits the barrier on the inside. Timmy Hansen has had a spin in Q1, drops to the back of the pack. You've got Krogstad side by side with Jordan Pepper down into the chicane. I think Pepper managed to get the better of Krogstad there, so a bit of carnage into the joke lap. I'm fairly sure goes Henrik Krogstad. Timmy Hansen in there as well, of course. Timmy Hansen, the driver coach for Yellow Squad. Krogstad runs wide. I don't know if he did that to let Timmy through or whether he made a mistake, but Hansen using all the track and a bit more. What a great first lap for him.
Yeah, so he's taken the joker there, which is the perfect chance for him to make up for that spin after the jump. Now, because of all the dust, we couldn't see if it was because of contact with Tom Blomqvist, but basically Timmy now has to pile in 2.5 of the best laps to try and get up to the back of Jordan Pepper and Tom Blomqvist to try and get a good time, which, with clear air in front of him, he should be able to do.
Beautifully done down at the hairpin there. You can see what Hansen does to get the car to the apex on the exit. Jordan Pepper, have to say, looking quick here, Neil. If you think that Blomqvist is one of our absolute pace setters, there is Jordan Pepper, looking super relaxed. Very, very different from the day job.
It's a brilliant time, for a lap 3 in the middle of a race. To be in the 33s already is very impressive.
So Jordan Pepper and Tom Blomqvist making it difficult for Timmy Hansen to recover further than he has already. And not a great start for 2 out of our 3. Tom Blomqvist, the man who's in P2 in the standings at the minute, would like to take a couple of points off both the Hansens if he can in the qualifying stages, and this is a good way to do that. Fantastic line from Jordan Pepper, deep in the hairpin, but one steering input all the way through as he gets into turn 2. Coming down the hill now, braking. These two will both split off to the left for the joke lap. Here they go. You're watching Jordan Pepper. He splits left. Close in. You can see the black tarmac marks there. The tyre marks on the tarmac into the right-hander. Look at Timmy Hansen. The concentration fully on, and he's had a moment down at the hairpin where the World Championship was decided last year. Hansen had a spin. That happened last year. He came out of that as World Champion, but This time around, maybe it's not going to work out. Blomqvist has won from Jordan Pepper and Timmy Hansen. Henrik Crocs down in fourth. Ollie Bennett, well, there you go, Ollie. You said it, mate. He wasn't sure how today was going to go, and so far it's not gone brilliantly. But all eyes on Timmy Hansen. A problem in turn 2 and 3 on the opening lap, and then a problem in the hairpin on lap 4. A 2:20.007 is rapid as well. That is 7 seconds quicker than Matvey Farashkin went in the very first race, and it finished with a .007, which is cool, in my opinion. Here we go, on to the next grid. We've got Orhan Avcolu on pole, Tessa Wittek, the Monster Energy Drift driver, next to Orhan. Then it's Marius Birmingood, Shane Van Gisbergen is back, and Max Coates as well. We spoke to Max in the last show from Sweden a few weeks back. Myself and Neil actually went to Sweden last weekend for some real-life rallycross, which was great fun. So we're halfway through a wonderful 14 days of quarantine. How's it going, Neil?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It feels like exactly the same as the 105 days before we went to Sweden, to be honest. A bit Groundhog Day. Oh, by the way, it's Flying Ant Day. I've just noticed I'm about to be attacked by about 25 flying ants. So that's a thing fantastic.
Still. Marvellous. Marvellous. Right, here we go. Grid coming up. We'll get back to more wildlife chat later on. Me and Neil desperate to present Blue Planet or something
Spring
similar
Watch.
with our wonderful, calm, beautiful tone. I'm sure you'd all love to hear me scream at foxes being born or something. I personally think the concept would be awesome. So if there's a producer watching, let's give people an alternative. So Orhan Avcolu on the pole with Tessa Wittek, Birmingham, Shane Van Gisbergen just to your left in the Kevin Hansen car, and Max Coates. Great start for Shane Van Gisbergen and Orhan Avcolu on the inside. Van Gisbergen will give him a bit of space. He doesn't. He just goes straight around the outside. Going to try and shut the door into turn 2. It's tight between them. Van Gisbergen leading. Orhan Avcolu gets through. Marius Birmingham in third place. So a clean start, Neil, for these three.
Yeah, really clean, and they were all taking very similar lines, and that opening sort of turn 1 into turn 2 is like a kind of long right tightens into a hairpin, so you can do it as almost like a triple apex corner, and they did it beautifully and all stayed out of trouble, which will help all of them.
Birmingham with a good joker on the first lap, and I think he's come out in front of Max Coates and Tessa Wittek. So Marius Birmingham with a bit of a sly one. He's managed to get in and out of the joker on lap 1. So Coates and Wittek may be getting tied up with each other. And that means Birmingham is just 4.0 off the back of Avcolu. Shane Van Gisbergen leading by a considerable margin, 1.2 seconds. Let's watch that gap. It's gone up by 1/10 of a second last time we looked. Tessa Wittek and Max Coates continuing on the standard lap for now. Who's jokered? It was Avcolu. So Avcolu jokered and protected his position from Birmingham. Interesting.
And did it successfully, yeah.
Yeah, nicely done. So Avcolu's gone and protected from Birmingham. What's the gap out front to Shane Van Gisbergen? Well, we'll find out next time they cross the timing line. Good tactics from those two. 4.7 look for Van Gisbergen back. So Birmingham has dropped a further 1.7 off the leader.
It's great to have Orhan Avcolu with us because presumably he'll be gearing up for the first round of the European Rally Championship, which is in Rome, starting in a week's time, I think. So, he'll be putting aside his sim rig and getting the full fireproofs and helmet out. So this will be good for him to go out with a last hurrah.
Oliver Solberg taking part in that one as well. Of course, that's his first proper full-on tarmac rally. Doesn't count Rally Monte Carlo for obvious reasons. It's a bit too mixed weather, the Monte, to be a tarmac rally. Shane Van Gisbergen absolutely flying. He's aiming for the target time of 2:20.007. Van Gis has got about 7 or 8 seconds to go. It's looking like a very good time by Tom Blomqvist, but I think Van Gisbergen could get it. It's going to be super tight at the line. Not quite, I think. Not quite. We're going to find out in a moment. Orhan Avcolu gets P2. Birmingham gets P3. You're on board with Max Coates. You'll see a similar view when British Touring Cars gets underway soon, because he's going to be racing a Mini in the support series for that. Tessa Wittek is drifting her way through the hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Coates crosses the line. Here's Tessa Wittek. We know she races with the virtual reality headset on, which is a very cool way to experience Dirt Rally 2.0. Shane Van Gisbergen just misses out 2:20.091, 900ths of a second. So there is very little in it. The Van Gis is on it as always, 2:20.091. Scribbling that on my piece of paper.
The key thing there, though,
Yeah,
Coley,
go on,
is
Neil.
that the top three have all gone quicker than Timmy Hansen. So Timmy Hansen was a
Yes.
2:27. So Orhan and Marius have gone in a 24:25.
Interesting. So Timmy then with a 2:27, roughly equal to Matvey Farashkin, who won the first race. So at least he knows he's not at the bottom of the pack, and he beat 2 in his race. But there's a few quick people in here as well. So Rokas Bachuska, David Perel, then we've got Sivert Svardal, Alex Day, fail race, and Jonathan Paye on the outside is the one that I'm interested in seeing whether or not he can get from outside to inside, and Bachuska as well. He's going to have to deal with all these guys are pretty quick. Svardal was quick last time as well, but Paye was the winner in Sweden last time out. So can he do the same again here from the outside of grid?
Perel's the unknown quantity here, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if he's been practicing with Jordan Pepper, we saw Pepper was pretty quick. So David Perel, you can see his name on the window on the number 38 Peugeot to the right. You are behind, who are you behind? Sivert Svardal, I think. Alex Day is just to the left. Good start for Svardal on board. Bachuska got a great start too. Bad start for Jonathan Paye, drops to the back of the pack. Bachuska on the inside, trying not to take Svardal out. Nicely done. So Sivert Svardal gets through cleanly in P2. We lost somebody there in the dust. I think the green Peugeot into the wall, which I'm pretty sure was David Perel, wasn't it? He drops to the back of the pack. So P3 at the minute is Jonathan Paye. Does Paye go Joker? He doesn't. Sivert Svardal goes Joker from P2. David Perel goes with him. So can either of these two get out ahead of the pack? Here we go on the gravel straight. No, they end up at the back. So Svardal and Perel now, Neil, chasing the times.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Now, David Perel is absolutely no stranger to sim racing. He's one of the purest of the sort of current generation that splits kind of real racing and GT sim racing 50-50. So he's absolutely at home in his sim. But whether he's at home sliding it sideways on this circuit, he is at home because he's from Cape Town. So it looks like taking the first lap Joker has done him good because he's catching up. These two are fighting amongst themselves.
They are indeed, yeah. Bachuska under pressure from Paye, and at 2.4 seconds, the gap is pretty tight. So you'd like to think that someone will be telling Paye. We've seen real life spotters. Paye goes up the inside of Bachuska, going to push him wide. Nicely done. Bachuska loses a bit of ground. We'll try and chase him down. Paye now, I think, will wait, Neil, with clear air in front of him, and Joker on the last lap. Bachuska might go now to defend his position.
Paye was so good last round, wasn't he?
He does. Bachuska goes out to take the Joker lap now. Bachuska trying to fight off Sivert Svardal. Watch for the merge here. Svardal in the blue Peugeot clearly in front. So Svardal and Perel both get past. Bachuska drops to P4. Jonathan Paye, how much of a gap does he have? I don't think it's anywhere nearly enough. I think Paye is in danger of coming in second or third here, Neil.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting merge, isn't it? He should come in between Svardal and Perel, I reckon. But there's a chance that Perel, if he puts in a really good lap here, could actually take second.
Here we go then, into the Joker lap. Jonathan Paye goes on the final lap of this Q1 session. He's around the outside. It's a good Joker by Paye so far. He might be able to carry enough speed here. Watching for Jonathan Paye around the outside. Maybe he can get David Perel, comes in. Oh, no mercy. Slams the door in Perel's face. Svardal takes it. Paye just in front of David Perel. Super close between Bachuska and Alex Day with a spin over the line. Not his traditional role, but Paye with a 2:23.003. Not enough to win the session. So it is title hopeful Tom Blomqvist who wins Q1 with that time of 2:20.007. Brilliant by him. His closest rival, Shane van Gisbergen.
Wow,
so there we go.
That's
Q1, yeah.
Marker.
Yeah, very much. Blomqvist and Van Gisbergen both looking quick. We know Hansen had a few issues in there, so I'd expect Timmy Hansen to bounce back from that. Paye, the 2:23, Neil, not great. He didn't get a great start, and then I suspect Bachuska held him up a little bit. So I think Paye's probably in the mix as well. Kevin Hansen with a disconnection is a bit of a mixed first session.
Yeah, and interesting because it looks like that final corner in the gravel might be a little bit of kryptonite for Timmy. He's got to overcome, it's obviously first race today, but obviously contact after the jump and then a mistake in that final corner, which is where everything sort of went right/wrong in Cape Town in November. Timmy's clearly got a bit of a bugbear to get over in that corner.
Yeah, good Q1, interesting Q1. Q2 will be starting shortly. We're going to be going straight to that, I think, in a minute. Do you want a dog update, Neil? Oh, we're going to go for an interview.
Well, we could speak to one of the drivers. Yeah.
Well, that's what we're hoping for. Kevin Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's have a chat with Kevin then. Kevin hopefully is on the line and should pop up in a neat little box between me and Neil. There he is, Kevin Hansen.
Hey.
Mate, what happened?
To be honest, I was fully ready and my server just never stopped loading. So it was a real shame. I was looking, I think, for a good race win because it was only 2 cars. So yeah, that's how it is sometimes.
Yeah. And how much time have you spent in the last week since returning from actual racing activities last weekend on the sim, getting to grips with Cape Town, Killarney?
Well, we spent quite some time. I think I've done 2-3 test days. I've done 2 of them on my stream. So, you know, we have some preparation also going on before of the season. So it's quite hectic. So it's good that it's the last race now this weekend because it's going to be a lot to do now, preparing for the real races coming. So, but I mean, I put in quite a lot. I think Timmy, Tom, and Shane, I put in more. So it's going to be a tough one today, but at least if I can get into the races, it would be a lot easier to see how I can do.
Are you? Do you think you can make the semis, Kevin? Assuming no more disconnection issues, you're going to have 3 very strong sessions.
Yeah, I think so. I think my pace is quite good, and you know, I'm a rallycrosser, so turn 1 normally is my strong part. So I hope I can bring out the good things of me and really try to pick it together. You know, it can be like this in real 2. We miss Q1 or have a technical problem, so you just have to focus back on, and we're still in the fight for the championship. So have to get back on that track and into the servers, and then let's just go again.
Fantastic. Good luck, Kevin. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Right, Kevin Hansen with his issues in Q1. I think we're just about ready for Q2, are we, guys?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, standings. Okay, yes, good idea. We're going to take a look at the standings first of all. Let's see just where Timmy Hansen is after that. Oh, he's not even on the first page. So Blomqvist wins. And remember, each of these positions. So down the right-hand side are your finishing positions within the qualifying session. So 50 is a win, 45, 42. They're not championship points. They just put you in order after qualifying. But that order gives 16 points for the top qualifier down to 1 point for the guy in P16. So as you can see at the minute, Blomqvist would be taking more than the 6-point difference between him and Hansen off Timmy Hansen if it stayed this way. Now, we've got 3 sessions to go, and I suspect it won't stay this way, but a great start for Tom Blomqvist. Right, here we go. Time for Q2. Right, on this, the poll for the first race, race 1, Q2. Marius Bermengren on pole. Timmy Hansen straight away back out. Henrik Krogstad, Jordan Pepper, and Mika Salo. I think Mika Salo potentially still missing, unless he's managed to solve his technical issues. Let's have a look when we get to the grid. He is indeed. So on the outside, I say it's Jordan Pepper and Henrik Krogstad. It's Pepper who is on the far outside line. Timmy Hansen just to your right. So we are behind Henrik Krogstad, who got a great start last time, along with Timmy. And then there was the coming together in turn 3, which cost Timmy a fair bit of time. Ready to race light goes out. Let's see who gets the best start this time. Even start between these 3, Pepper, Hansen and Krogstad. Hansen has the inside line, should go deep on the brakes here, but not too deep. Sideways to Krogstad.
Krogstad protected Timmy Hansen.
Yeah, sent him off right round the outside. So Jordan Pepper, whether that was a mistake or on purpose, Krogstad has cost Jordan Pepper, but he's helped Timmy Hansen out big time. So it's Hansen from Bermengren. Bermengren going to go standard lap or not? Where's Jordan Pepper go? Jordan Pepper goes Joker, and I think he would regret that, Neil. I reckon he wanted to go without Krogstad, but he'd obviously committed to that line before Krogstad went.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's one of those sort of millisecond decisions that if you're a rallycrosser pure through and through, then you can evolve, you can adjust. It's not so easy if you're not used to the Joker system to make that last second change of mind.
Bermengren in full concentration mode. I like the fact he's got green headphones matching a green car. That pleases me a great deal. Well done, Marius. Hansen full on drift around the outside. Bermengren doesn't get it quite so nicely. So Bermengren there couldn't get the car turned in, the initial turn in, and ended up with understeer the whole way through the hairpin, running down the barrier. Hansen got it rotated early. You could see pretty much ran the other end of the car down the barrier sideways. We're really sorry not to be going to Cape Town this year, of course, thanks to COVID. The calendar has been changed. It starts in Sweden, then heads across to Finland, going back to Kuvula, where the only winner in World RX has been Tanner Faust. Of course, that was the wet race in 2014 before we departed Kuvula. Very pleased to be going back there. Fantastic circuit. Great organisational team as well to get the event together so quickly. But Cape Town, we will be back. How can we not go back after last year's title fight? Timmy Hansen on to his final lap and looking for a decent time here, I think.
Yeah, the lap time's good. Low 33s is very good in race. Obviously, low 33s puts him in the top sort of 50 or so in the world leaderboard. And when you're in a race situation, it's harder to put in your practice laps, sort of qualifying laps. And now it's Joker.
So Timmy Hansen looking a bit more relaxed than he looked last time. You can see the look on his face. He's in concentration mode, but he's not in recovery mode like he was in Q1. Looking to set a new fastest time of the weekend. Not going to do it though. It's a 2:20.7 for Hansen. A big shunt there for Pepper. Right at the finish line. Was it Jordan Pepper? Okay, it's absolute carnage at the finish. So it was Krogstad.
I think they'll be getting someone telling them.
Terminal damage, I think, on Krogstad then. Yeah, so straight, I wasn't sure it was Krogstad or Pepper, but Krogstad basically came into the last chicane flat and just didn't lift. So good on him, but unfortunately it didn't work out. So a DNF for Krogstad, buried in the wall. I think it was, I don't know if we were on board with Jordan Pepper or Birmingham. Somebody passed him through the signage at the side of the track. So Timmy Hansen took it with, what was it, a 2:21, was it?
2:20.7, 2:20.79.
2:20.79.
So up there with the fastest times.
Timmy Hansen. Yeah.
Half a second slower.
Well, that's more like it. But we've got two people in this race who can definitely, three people in fact, who can definitely do those times. So let's see. Sivert Svardal and Matvey Farashkin on the inside of three drivers who we know are very quick. Shane Van Gisbergen, Jonathan Paillet, and Tom Blomqvist.
Now, this will be very interesting to see how the gears, Tom and Jonathan, manage to kind of keep there, because they all want the fastest line and they're all capable of getting there straight away. So this is when it gets interesting. At least one of them will have their race compromised by being in a race with the other fastest drivers.
Don't forget as well, these three are the three event winners from the first three rounds. So all lining up together in a line. The three winners of the three previous rounds, Van Gisbergen, Paillet and Blomqvist on the outside of the grid. You're with Shane Van Gisbergen. It was a very long hold, but it's a good start by Shane Van Gisbergen, trying to edge Farashkin on the inside. Wants to try and shut the door on those two inside drivers. Or Farashkin, I thought, was going to go straight in the door, but he doesn't. Sivert Svardal holds the inside line. Tap for Jonathan Paillet. Paillet drops back. Farashkin is in the way of Blomqvist. Blomqvist at the back of the pack. Very clean start. Blomqvist, though, down in P5. And it's advantage Shane Van Gisbergen at the moment, but Jonathan Paillet's gone with him. Does Paillet go Joker? He doesn't. They've all gone standard lap except Blomqvist. Blomqvist goes Joker on lap one. That's a clever tactic, Neil, from Tom Blomqvist. Going to try and hope the others don't Joker too soon. He can close that gap down to the other two previous event winners.
Yeah, for all kinds of reasons. Blomqvist taking the Joker there is going to really help him. A, he's not going to be caught in anyone's dust, but B, he can really just nail his practice laps. But what a brilliant first sequence of corners that they all kept it clean. And they're all going, maximum attack, and there was no contact whatsoever.
Oh, spin from Van Gisbergen. Shane Van Gisbergen picks the curbs on the inside, makes a mistake and spins the car. He collected Jonathan Paillet. That's massively advantaged Tom Blomqvist, who's taken the Joker already, and now the two guys who were super quick, I think they've all gone Joker behind him, and I'm pretty sure Blomqvist is into P2. He is. So Blomqvist comes up from a rotten first lap, ends up down in P5. Jokers and a spin from the leader, Shane Van Gisbergen. Compromised Paillet, and now Blomqvist is 1.7 behind Svardal. What a result for him.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it? And that's kind of what I was saying before, that, if you are in the quickest race, you could easily get your race compromised by the fact that someone else that's quick gets in your way, and that's exactly what just happened between the Giz and Matvey.
On this occasion, of course, it's Shane Van Gisbergen making a mistake. So making a mistake and Paillet being unable to avoid him because he was so close behind. So they both drop back. Shane Van Gisbergen to the very back of the pack, having spun, and Blomqvist, look, he's on the back of Sivert Svardal, 0.8 of a second on this last lap. Tom Blomqvist, the winner of Q1, was P5 at the start of this race. What time can he do here Into the Joker lap goes Svardal. Watching Blomqvist on the inside. The target time is a 2:20.79 for Timmy Hansen. All the way out to the wall. Tom Blomqvist, his own time was a 2:20.007 in the first session. He's not going to get that, and it's not going to be faster this time round. So Blomqvist wins the race. Could only be P2 in the session. 2:21.6 for Blomqvist. So 2:21.610. Blomqvist not as quick as Timmy Hansen. Not surprising, having been P5 off the start. Neil, that was a hell of a drive. Obviously, somewhat assisted by Van Gisbergen's mistake.
Yeah, you could see that Tom was really on it in his lap 3 and lap 4 because he put in a 32.77 in lap 3, which is very, very quick. I mean, that's global leaderboard top 20 style.
I'm pleased if I get in the top 1,000. No.
Yeah.
Well, not yeah. Very, very occasionally I grace the top 500, but that's about it. These guys are brilliant. I think the other thing is it's repetition. You know, I might get one perfect lap out of 70 attempts, and these guys are nailed 4 or 5 in a row. So impressive.
You're claiming
stuff.
A perfect lap.
Well, perfect for me, Neil. Yeah, perfect for me.
Okay.
So, yeah, not
perfect.
Top of the leaderboard would be perfect, wouldn't it now, eh? Hayden Paddon is on the pole for this one with Rokas Baciuska next to him. Then it's Alex Day, Fail Race, Simon Evans and David Perel.
Let's hope Hayden's there because I think we missed him.
Yeah.
He didn't make the connection on Quali 1.
Right, we're hearing more connection problems for Hayden Paddon. Disaster for him. What a shame. We spoke about it already. Of course, he's developing an electric rally car using the kit from Project E. He's backed by Hyundai in New Zealand. We were really looking forward to seeing him on Rally New Zealand. WRC, of course, discussing their calendar for next year. I'm not going to lie. I would love to see Rally GB and Rally New Zealand on that calendar. They're two absolutely brilliant classic events, particularly if you're a fan of the era of rallying that I am, the McRae era. You know, those two events absolutely key to McRae's career. I've got great memories of watching them on the telly and in real life as well for Rally GB. Got to have Rally GB in the WRC. Come on, I mean, I know I'm British, but, you know, it's a classic. Right. Baciuska on the inside. Waiting for the green. Alex Day, you're on board with. He's beaten Baciuska down towards turn 1. Day goes out and claims the line around the outside. Baciuska's going to drop in behind him. Baciuska takes the tight line. Alex Day's a bit too quick in. Goes quite deep. Dropping down behind David Perel. David Perel looks up the inside of Alex Day. Lovely move in turn 2. So Alex making a mistake. David Perel capitalising on that. He has a look up the inside of Baciuska now. So David Perel making moves on this first lap. Up on 2 wheels. Alex Day gets back underneath him. So Fail Race goes Joker, Simon Evans goes with him. And on the standard lap, it's Baciuska and David Perel.
Interesting to see Dave Perel taking the big chunk of curb in the car up onto 2 wheels, which is a lot of fun, but it's not necessarily the quickest way.
Yeah, I think he was looking for a gap, wasn't he? He was trying desperately to find a way past Baciuska, having made a good move on this man, Alex Day. Alex is a famous YouTuber. If you're not sure what Fail Race means, that's his YouTube handle. Go and have a look. There's some content on there. Oh, is that a puncture? Some stuff. There was definitely debris. It is rear right puncture. As we were watching him, Alex Day has had a puncture. You saw it happen live on your pictures. The rear right just disintegrated. That will be from contact earlier on, and that's an absolute disaster. Neil, there's no way he's going to make the 30-second cut-off with a lap and a half to go. He'd be lucky not to get lapped. Baciuska making a move on Perel. So those two both having a fight. This is playing into the hands of Simon Evans. Simon Evans was 3.1 back. David Perel, look, he's all over the back of Baciuska. Baciuska makes a mistake. Perel goes on the outside. Perel going to go standard lap. Baciuska goes Joker. The gap was down to 2.5, 6/10 of a second lost with that battle. Watch on the inside line now for Simon Evans. Where is he? It's going to be close at the merge. Baciuska just comes out in front of Evans.
Yeah, Rokas will be pleased to make that stick because, of course, Simon Evans, technically a rookie to Rallycross, a Kiwi, putting in a very good drive here, but Rokas showing that a little bit more Rallycross experience should count. Like, this is my house, he's saying. Yeah,
looking forward to seeing Baciuska back in action. Looking forward to seeing all the drivers back in action, particularly after a bit of a taste of real Rallycross again last weekend. I think everybody's missing normal. We're hoping normal's coming soon. Not new normal, we want old normal as soon as possible, but we've all got to play our part in getting that. David Perel taking the win in Q2 race 3. A tap at the barriers there for Baciuska or Evans over the line. And with 30 seconds to go for Fail Race, not going to make it. to,
those
to
cars
the
are
end of this
so
final
hard
parade.
to drive when you're dragging your rim around, sparks flying. You've got to try and make the finish.
Oh, I'll tell you what, he's pushing his luck, isn't he? 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You'd need 7 or 8 seconds from here normally. Racing, desperately trying not to get a DNF. It's going to be so close. Just throw it at the line. Go on, chuck it at the line. No!
Oh, what a shame.
Denied by about 1 second. So we're always saying disconnection for Bachuska, but Bachuska's finished the race. Okay, we've got Bachuska in. So it's just the time then. Perel took a 2:24.4, so it's not going to trouble the top guys too much.
Good for him to get a win at home, though. There's a race win in Cape Town. It's great.
Okay, final race of Q2. Ollie Bennett on pole, and it saw Orhan of Jolu, Kevin Hansen, Max Coates, and Tessa Whittock. Got a message come in from Yellow Squad. They're saying there are no team orders. They decided everyone should focus on doing their own races as quickly as possible. They said it was a mistake from Henrik in Q1 rather than a deliberate action on Jordan Pepper. Fair enough. Getting their excuses in with the stewards early. That's what we like to see. And a message from one of my friends, Karima, who says she'd love to see me present Blue Planet. Thanks, Karima. I'm sure. I'm not sure the rest of the UK would agree. But me and Neil, we're able, aren't we, Neil? Particularly during lockdown, to revoice something beautiful like that in a rallycross style. It would certainly get reviews.
Different kind of Twitch stream, though, if you're bird spotting.
Right, you're behind Kevin Hansen, who was in the title fight but disconnected in Q1. Got to get a good result here in Q2 if he wants to stand any chance of making it through to the semi-finals. It's a great start by Kevin on this one. Going to move across and try and shut the door on the inside. Almost a bit of contact. Gets a run up the rear as well. Ollie Bennett down in P5, I think it is. Max Coates P4. And at the minute, Kevin leading from Orhan. Is Ollie Bennett? I'm just trying to see if Ollie Bennett's in the Peugeot. I think Bennett might be in the Peugeot. He is. Ollie Bennett, for some reason, has turned up in the Peugeot. So he's done he's pulled a fast one and switched teams in between sessions. Good on you, Ollie. I said things maybe not going to go his way today. But Kevin Hansen leading, Neil.
Yeah, and this is exactly what he needed. He got out of turn 1, got a good start, out to turn 1 straight, and now he can just try and hammer in 4 quick laps like he would be doing in practice to try and work his way up the leaderboard from pretty much flat last after his disconnection in Q1.
Yeah, got to chase lap times here. Remember, qualifying is all about time, so he needs to be beating the times of his fellow drivers. And at the minute, the person who's in his sights firmly is his brother, Timmy Hansen. You can see Susan Hansen in the background. No sign of Kenneth Hansen yet. There's a book out about Kenneth Hansen if you're interested. Kenneth Hansen 14.
I've just ordered it.
Look, have you ordered it? Nice one, Neil. Yeah. It's written by our very good friend Hal Ridge, an excellent rallycross journalist and an excellent co-commentator as well last weekend. If you were watching from Hollis.
So Max is in his Mini. It's Ollie Bennett, I think. Yeah, as you say, who switched cars.
Maybe there's only one Mini, Neil.
Sometimes that happens.
You know, there is only one Mini in real life. Perhaps Max did a deal with Ollie that he would use the Mini on this one, and Ollie clearly having, let's say, a rough day for Ollie Bennett. He's going to need all the energy drinks he can muster to get through it, I think. He's even got into the wrong car in the pre-grid, Ollie Bennett. So thinking about it, Bennett is actually running a car with the wrong energy drink on it now, Neil.
Yeah, I wonder how that'll go down with his team. Not very excited at all about that. But out front, very much the correct energy drink is Kevin Hansen taking the Joker lap, last lap Joker. He can come flying out way ahead of Jolu. Take the checkered flag, and let's see what this time's like from Kevin Hansen.
It's not enough. 2:22.5, I reckon. So it's not enough. Blomqvist and Timmy Hansen definitely beating Kevin Hansen. Still a good run. There's Ollie Bennett in the wrong car. Nice one, Ollie. Get it done, lad. Here's Max Coates borrowing Ollie's car. And Tessa Whittock coming through the big crest dip there. It's only about 50 centimetres difference in the high and the low there, but it's such an impressive sight in real life when you see the cars committed through there. So Kevin Hansen with a 2:22.554. It is a good time, which we'll see him move up the leaderboards and hopefully try and find his way into the semis. But we are seeing it's Timmy Hansen who has won Q2. Now, I believe we can have a chat with one of our South African friends, in fact. So hopefully we're going to be able to pop a box up for Jordan Pepper. He's just working on his technicals now.
So that session was interesting because, of course, I've been following Alex Failrace quite a lot on his YouTube, and it'll be interesting to see how difficult it was to do that race on a puncture because, for me, it's almost impossible. Though. So he did really well to struggle that out.
I just hit restart if I get a puncture, Neil. That's
rage quit.
Just game over for me. Rage quit. Jordan Pepper is on the line. Hopefully Jordan's not going to be rage quitting anytime soon. I think he's done quite well so far. Jordan, how's it going, dude?
Yeah, good. Just learning this whole rallycross thing, bar banging action is obviously something that's quite a known quantity in rallycross, and I got a bit caught up there with Krogstad, but I guess it got put down to a racing incident and move on and have a bit more fun.
We do have stewards who are watching it because the game itself doesn't really penalise too much sort of sportsmanlike or driving standards. So we do have people watching out for that kind of thing. But door to door, is it something that you're used to that much? I mean, trading paint.
In the sport I'm in, your car's full carbon fiber, a lot of aerodynamic parts and stuff like that. So you only trade paint on the last lap if it's for the win. But especially. It's something I'm not used to, but I'm happy to have a go with the boys. I'm got to learn fast, It's Q2, had a good Q1, and got a bit roughed up there in Q2, so got to get a good Q3 and 4, and maybe with a few new techniques that I learned, I can make my way to the front.
Now, Jordan, we've actually spoken before about the possibility of you coming and doing real rallycross. I know we had a brief conversation about it out in Asia, and I still think you should. What's the score? You thinking about it? Is it? Is this ringing your bell?
Man, this is honestly the most fun that I've had in a while, especially on the sim. So if it's this good fun on the sim, I can only imagine what it's like in real life. And I'm definitely open up for the opportunity. Maybe if everything goes ahead and back to South Africa and stuff, it's something I've got to still work on. Obviously, I chatted to you before, and my path's taken quite a bit of a difference since then. I've been all over the place, but now I'm a bit more secure where I am in my full-time job. But it's worth having a crack in rallycross at some point. I would absolutely love it.
We'd love to see you there, Jordan, as well. Good luck for the rest of the day, mate. Keep representing. You're doing a great job.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go, Jordan Pepper. We can take a look back at some of the highlights from Q2. So let's go back and look at some of the racing we've just seen. Halfway through the qualifying stages here in South Africa, the final round of World RX's Esports Series, the first ever official Esports Series for the FA World Rallycross Championship in conjunction with Motorsport Games, Codemasters and Dirt Rally 2.0, Monster Energy Gaming, Gamebite, and of course Cooper Tyres. Timmy Hansen, great recovery for him. Shane van Gisbergen, not so much. You can see clipped that front left. Actually lucky not to get a puncture with an impact that hard. That compromised Paye as well, so don't count them out. It played into the hands of Tom Blomqvist on the inside, who jokered on that first lap when he was P5 off the start. Blomqvist having a fantastic run to end up, I think, second in the session behind Timmy Hansen, but not able to beat his title rival in this one. So Timmy coming back at him, but two good results for Tom Blomqvist, one good, one bad for Timmy Hansen. Simon Evans here, one of our debut drivers, trying to make his way through the pack. This is Alex Day. Failrace, of course, had the puncture. Is that where he picked it up? I would suggest
yes.
It is. Yes, rear right's gone flat there, and then we saw it explode when we were watching him live. Bachuska had that fight with David Perel. This was Perel trying to go around the outside. Bachuska kind of forced into the Joker lap here. He went Joker. Perel went standard lap. That released everybody else. But I think in their race, the time's not quite so good. It was a 2:24.4 for Perel when he eventually took the checkered flag. Bachuska coming in just in front of Simon Evans. This was Kevin Hansen edging out Ollie Bennett in his brother's car for some reason in the final race of Q4. Kevin Hansen making a good recovery and setting a time, Neil, which sees him towards the top of the table on that session. So I'm sure we'll have the standings for you in a minute, and we'll see just how well Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen have recovered it. But I think Blomqvist is going to be at the top of the table, Neil, consistently at the front for Blomqvist compared to up and down performances for the Hansens.
And the other,
we can take a look at the standings now. Go on, Neil. Sorry, let's take it.
Of course, if this was a normal qualifying session, he would have had a massive repair on that car, almost completely destroyed the car. But of course, it's just a reset, and he can go again if there's not sort of terminal damage to the car that he can't reset in the service park.
Let's see where he is on the table. So at the top of the table, it is Tom Blomqvist, but look at that for a recovery from Timmy Hansen. 32 points for Q1. relatively speaking, an absolute disaster, but somehow has managed to get himself up into P2. I'm staggered at that because I thought that his second performance, the Q1 performance, would be enough to see him further down the order. But I think that goes to show you that how much a session win can make a difference to your position overall. So Blomqvist leading from Timmy Hansen, then it's Jonathan Pius, Sivert Svardal, Shane van Gisbergen, Orhan Avjolu, then David Perel, Jordan Pepper, 2 South Africans in the semi-finals at home at the moment. Marius Bermingrid and Rokas Pachuska. Kevin Hansen, look, one of the title fighters in desperate need of a couple of good sessions to get his way back into the top 10. Q3 coming up next. Okay, here we go. On the pole, Rokas Pachuska, I say, taking the place of Scott Pye. We wish Scott Pye and all the guys down in Australia well. Of course, there's been a lockdown in the state of Victoria, which means that a lot of the V8 teams have had to move. There was a video of one of the teams, in fact, moving into a farm outside the area. They made it across the border with 15 minutes to spare. So Rokas Pachuska taking Scott Pye's place, and good luck to all those guys racing down under. Hayden Patton, Sivert Svardal, Henrik Krogstad, Mika Salo, I'm assuming he's going to be missing. So this might be a 3-car race. It is, and it's wet. It's raining in Cape Town. Scratch of the crash helmet there. Pigeons. Yeah, not ideal conditions. Again, we've said it before, but a bit of contact in the wet makes a huge difference. Clouds over Table Mountain. Pachuska checking his steering. You could see there just before the start, wiggling the wheels. Pachuska with an amazing start. Not quite so good for Svardal and Krogstad. Krogstad going to drop in behind Svardal and I hope he runs wide. Svardal, those wise to it, absolutely planted on the curb. Unfortunately, Pachuska plants it into the apex tyres and loses out, and that switches the order completely. Krogstad to the front. Svardal stays in P2, and Pachuska drops to the back of the pack.
Now that was really interesting because these, everywhere else in the world, are called floppies, those track markers. I remember when this DLC came out on Dirt Rally 2.0 and suddenly they were solid, absolutely solid. So it's an interesting mistake there for Rokas Pachuska, presuming maybe that the inside corner marker, the inside of the tyre bales was going to be soft, and it wasn't, and it stopped him dead.
Yeah, you don't want to assume they're going to move too much in real life either, because I can tell you a big bale of tyres can do a lot of damage. You can nudge them out the way occasionally, but as a general rule, when they've got the conveyor belt wrapped around them like that, you're looking at pulling bits off the car rather than moving the barriers out of the way. Some venues, they're chained down to the ground as well. So, yeah, they don't move at all in Dirt Rally 2.0, so don't hit them, basically. Svardal off the Joker lap. 3.4, I think it was, off the back of Krogstad. Krogstad yet to Joker. I wonder if he might go on this lap, Neil. Svardal is enough of a threat for me for Krogstad to go immediately rather than wait a lap and give him a chance to close him down.
Especially as it's wet, and as we all know, when you do racing online, you tend to not to do a lot of practice in the wet because it's like leg day. You only do it when you have to. So
he's gone Joker. He's gone Joker.
He did go Joker. You're right.
Merge. Krogstad coming down on the gravel section now, going to get out just in front of Sivert Svardal. Nicely done. We were right. He reacted to Svardal's Joker. Krogstad coming out in front, but has got to defend for a whole lap. Svardal's piling the pressure on here. If they're sensible, they'll just follow each other to the flag and try and take a decent time rather than getting too caught up in a battle. Pachuska losing a lot of time with that mistake earlier on. At the moment, if qualifying remains as it is, yeah, maybe got on a go slow. Krogstad going to take this one from Svardal. Not a quick time. Well, of course, it's wet now, so can't compare. That's unfair. Can't compare. I'm thinking it's dry. Trying to compare it back to the previous sessions. So Krogstad a 2:27.0, and actually I think that will be a competitive time in the wet. So 2:27.091 and a 20-second penalty for Pachuska. So I don't know if that's in game. I'm assuming it is as it's there immediately. But
I think that might have been a jump start.
Yeah, it is.
So I think it was a jump start.
Yeah, hearing that from Race Control and from Neil Cole. You'll hear from Neil a lot in the game if you've played as well when you're under investigation. Okay, Orhan Avjolu on the pole from Marius Bermingrid, Simon Evans, Alex Day and Tom Blomqvist. Blomqvist currently will have closed the gap to Hansen by 1 point. So it would be a 5-point lead for Timmy Hansen in the championship compared to 6, according to our latest calculations. Kevin Hansen would have dropped slightly further back, I think.
So these guys are the second to take the wet track.
I just heard from Ollie Bennett. I'll update you when when it's his race. Brilliant. Ollie, you're keeping me entertained today, mate. Well done. Okay, so who are we behind here? We're in the middle of the grid. We are behind
Simon Evans.
Yeah, I think we Forrest is to the outside. Yes, we are. Well, unless Orhan got a jump start, seeing glitching here from 3 of the cars. So Orhan of Jolu with a great start, Neil, unless it was a jump start, in which case 20-second penalty. It seemed strange to me that everybody else was so much slower, but it could be a glitch. Don't read too much into it just yet. Blomqvist into P2. In the background, you can see Alex Day is defending from Marius Bermingrud. Simon Evans at the rear. Bermingrud's going to go joker on this lap. I don't know if Evans went in with him. We're following the leader, Orhan of Jolu. Tom Blomqvist up behind Orhan. Blomqvist will want to find a way through. Orhan's quick, but not quick enough, and spins in front of Blomqvist. There was nothing Tom Blomqvist could do to avoid that. Orhan of Jolu getting a big impact from Tom Blomqvist at the apex there. Say nothing Blomqvist could do, and actually Neil Blomqvist lucky as well that it didn't affect his race time too much.
Yeah, I mean, that would have slowed him down slightly, maybe a 1/10 of a second, but luckily it didn't kind of knock him out of his line either. Real shame, though, for the Turkish rally star Orhan to be now on the back foot.
Alex Day in the joker lap. Blomqvist, where's Day going to come in? Going to come in front of Bermingrud. So Alex Day in front of Marius Bermingrud. Good job. Oh, and not such a good job. Alex Day going massively grass cutting and snake hunting as well around the outside there. Poisonous snakes in South Africa. We get warned by our health and safety people not to go in the tyres. Actually, Neil, don't we? Mustn't climb over the tyres. And watch out for poisonous snakes. I haven't found one yet. Apparently there is a snake removal expert on site should we come across a snake at any point. Orhan of Jolu.
Cool job title, snake removal expert.
Yeah, that's great as well. I think it's cooler than that. I mean, it's not snake charmer, is it? Unfortunately, that would be even cooler if they came out with like a recorder and got rid of the snake for us. But it's not quite like that, is it? I'm sure it's not a recorder either. I hope other countries have recorders at school. A very, very basic musical instrument. I'm sure they do. But yeah, we genuinely do get briefed about snakes in South Africa, which always scares me. We always go up on that grass bank behind the TV compound to do filming, and I'm always scared that we're going to get bitten, or maybe, you know, the World Championship hopefuls might get bitten. Blomqvist going to come round and take, makes a mistake in the last corner. Tom Blomqvist, did that cost him the time? I think it did 2:28, I reckon Blomqvist got. So Blomqvist 2:28. No, 2:26.3. I wasn't sure if it had cost him or not. 2:26.3 is enough for Blomqvist to take the session so far, but there are 2 more races to come with some very quick drivers in it. We're seeing a definite jump start, we're hearing, but okay, maybe not. Okay, well, we'll figure that out in a minute. We haven't seen a penalty for a jump start, but Blomqvist took that one. Was it Orhan, Neil, that we thought potentially might have jumped the start?
Well, he certainly kind of leapt ahead of everyone else, but maybe he saw a snake.
Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe he did. Not a jump start confirmed by race control. There we go. No problem. So in this one, Matvey Frashkin, Ollie Bennett, will he be in the Mini this time? So Ollie very honestly said he took the wrong car. It timed out before he chose. The last
was he having
one.
a little snooze?
I don't know what he was doing. I think he needs a little snooze. He said that it's faster. So maybe Bennett will stick with the Peugeot. He can't really, can he? He's just going to have to do some more development work on the Excite Mini. So good on you, Ollie. Jordan Pepper is next to Ollie. We spoke to Jordan a few moments ago. Then we've got Kevin Hansen and David Perel. So Kevin Hansen really needs a good run here. Just outside the semi-finals at the end of Q2.
It's very impressed with David Perel, Q2, so let's see if he can stick it on the wet.
Not a good start for Kevin Hansen, goes absolutely backwards. So Kevin Hansen has lost out big time. I think it's Farashkin who got the whole shot. Ollie Bennett up the inside of everybody. But look at that, he just waits, and up 2 positions instantly. That's the kind of patience Bennett with a spin in turn 2, the same sort of patience we saw from Hamilton yesterday. on the throttle in F1, just waiting to get that perfect exit. And Kevin Hansen here needs to pick up the pieces quickly. Needs to go Joker, I think. He's going to get pushed around, just about holds on. I think he was going to go Joker anyway, Neil, but with a bit of contact on the way and quite lucky to get away with that. Perel is with him. Who's on the standard lap and where are they? So Bennett is behind, and so is Jordan Pepper. It's about where Farashkin is. So is Farashkin right behind Kevin Hansen? He is. So Kevin Hansen with Matvey Farashkin right behind, but Farashkin has already jokered. David Perel puts a move on Farashkin, and that now puts our front two drivers as two drivers who've jokered already. In fact, Farashkin gets back past Perel, and a mistake from Kevin Hansen just about holds on. This is a wild first lap for Hansen.
Yeah, and it was a classic rallycross, wasn't it? He had made a decision to go Joker to stay out of trouble, and he got a whiff of trouble on the way into the Joker, so he couldn't quite escape the wave of trouble that was sort of engulfing him from behind. But luckily, he's pulling away from it now and getting to grips with the wet, as you say, reminiscent of Lewis yesterday in qualifying. Yeah,
brilliant lap by Lewis Hamilton. I think the Grand Prix going on now, Neil? Is it going on in Austria as we speak?
Don't tell them!
I hope not. Yeah, it shouldn't be. They should be waiting for World RX Esports event to finish. In the background, David Perel sideways again. So Kevin, what are the lap times like? Oh, that's a move up the inside. Jordan Pepper on Farashkin. Jordan Pepper, though, hasn't jokered yet, and Farashkin has. Can't see where Ollie Bennett is. He did at least get in the right car this time. A little nudge of the wall for Jordan Pepper. There is Matvey Farashkin. Farashkin using a motion rig. Committed through that last chicane. You can hear as well Pepper on the limiter, choosing not to take another gear in the wet conditions, just hanging on to the cog below. 1.5 seconds between Kevin Hansen and David Perel.
I'm interested to see if they've all got their own individual wet setups on this. Maybe someone will get in touch and tell us.
Kevin Hansen chasing down the leading time, which at the minute is Tom Blomqvist with a 2:26. And it's going to be very close between them. So right up there in the mix between Blomqvist and Krogstad. Ollie Bennett down the infamous hairpin, should make it back in time from there, although seeing as he timed out whilst waiting to choose a car in the previous session, all bets are off today for Ollie. There you go, he makes it. Kevin Hansen, 2:27.097. Wow, okay, 0.06 of a second slower than Henrik Krogstad. It was that close between Kevin Hansen, the team boss for Yellow Squad, and Henrik Krogstad, the team driver. So Kevin Hansen, 0.06 of a second, 0.91 to 0.97 behind.
That's
okay,
close.
Timmy Hansen on the inside with Jonathan Paye, Max Coates, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Tessa Wittek. So Van Gisbergen, Paye, and Hansen need to make a move off the start here, particularly Timmy, of course, who's fighting for that top qualifier spot and fighting indeed for the World Championship. Shane Van Gisbergen is not out of that title fight, but would need much worse things to happen than are happening so far to the two Hansens and Blomqvist in front of him. I suspect Shane Van Gisbergen is just here because he enjoys it. And I do admire the fact this is a professional racing driver at the very top of his game, racing Australian V8s, who is still taking time out to come and help us out entertaining you guys at home with World RX Esports Series. So thank you very much, Shane, and to all the drivers who've taken part. Well done to the team coordinating those drivers as well. Bad start, Timmy Hansen, really bad start. Dropped straight down the order. Shane Van Gisbergen, those slots in behind him. Now has a look up the inside. I wondered if Shane had given him the spot, but he definitely didn't. Oh, Timmy to have none of that. So Timmy's actually then into the side of Van Gisbergen. Well, what's your thoughts on that, Neil?
Well, it didn't look like a huge amount of contact. It wasn't like a full-on side swipe, but in the wet, it's really hard to know how much lateral grip you've got. So if he wasn't expecting it, that sent Shane very wide.
It was door-to-door. To be fair to Timmy, it was door-to-door in terms of car length. He was fully up the inside, but, well, we'll see. Hansen behind Jonathan Paye in these terribly wet conditions here at Cape Town. Such a fun game, I have to say. Got to go and have another go. If you haven't played it already, go and have a look at Dirt Rally 2.0. It really is brilliant. Most of the tracks from the FA World Rallycross Championship, all of the cars from last year, so you can play as whoever your favourite driver is. There are some different liveries in there as well, which you can see a lot of the drivers are using. The tracks are extraordinarily accurate. They go out there and they take loads of photos of everything. No snakes. Haven't seen any snakes in the game, which is a shame. But I'm seeing it in real life, so maybe
just
true to real life.
Hansen.
Closing the gap down, indeed. Tessa Whittaker's gone Joker. Van Gisbergen, I don't think will give it back to Timmy, but he's certainly going to be no mercy, is there, in terms of making a move? I think I thought he'd given him a bit of space in turn 1, Neil. Into the Joker goes Timmy Hansen. Van Gisbergen, I thought he was a bit of a gentleman in turn 1. Then in turn 2, he went up the inside of Timmy. That was completely fair. And then Timmy went up the inside of him. Maybe it was turn 1 into the exit of turn 1 into turn 2.
Well, the way that this Joker strategy has panned out, I don't think they will have any chance of contact now, because Shane will have to Joker this lap, leaving Timmy clear air to merge maybe with the Jonathan Payet. It'll be interesting to see. I think that's going to be close between Timmy and Payet.
Timmy Hansen, 1.6 off the back of Payet. Payet into the Joker. Timmy Hansen on the inside line has got the car sideways already, looking to get a good exit. Jonathan Payet's got great exit speed, but it is the World Rallycross champion who comes out in front of Jonathan Payet, and the time looked quick to me. You're looking at Tessa Whittaker, so Hansen, Payet and Van Gisbergen have finished this one. Tessa Whittaker making her way to the finish now.
Interestingly, that her specialism is drifting, and that she wasn't quite so sideways around that lovely gravel hairpin at the end of the track. But
Max.
Max.
Not ideal. Quick bang it in
Losing
reverse,
a few
lad.
coats of
Yes. Yes, Max. Reverses over the line. Yes, get in. Now, that's a rallycross driver in the making there. Max Coates banging it into reverse and managing to get it over the line. You can see Bottom Right shaking his head. He's never taken a checker flag backwards before, and he hopes he never has to take one again. At least of all in 5th, Max. Timmy Hansen takes the win. What's the time? 2:26.0. Is it enough? It is. Yeah, it's enough. So Timmy Hansen with a 2:26.0. I'm writing down. I can write on a piece of paper here in front to remind myself that Timmy Hansen has won the session. That is a great result. But Tom Blomqvist is right there. So again, I think it might be enough for him to snatch the TQ. We'll have a look in a second. Wet session, Neil. Not ideal. For a lot of people.
Hopefully we've got that out of the way now. The dynamic weather, we've done that. Hopefully the rest will be dry. We'll go head into sunset. That beautiful South African sunset over Table Mountain will be, fingers crossed for dry conditions, because where was it that we had, was it Hell where we had the wet final and it was just chaotic?
It was hell. I mean, it was hell in hell, basically. It was so wet, it was ridiculous. I've never seen, it was biblical rain in hell, basically. It really, really was. We can take a look at some replays from that wet session Q3, which was won by Timmy Hansen. Let's have a look back at some of the action. We've got one qualifying session left to go. Timmy Hansen is under investigation for the contact with Shane Van Gisbergen. There we go. This was the mistake from Bachuska, which opened the door behind him for the order to completely change. Krogstad up from P3 to P1. Krogstad going on to win the race. Bachuska going on to do some more Torvill and Dean antics down in turn 2. Reference there to 1980s. Yeah, do you like that, Neil? Thought you'd appreciate that.
So basically, if you don't get Blue Planet or Springwatch, you're going for ice skating as a backup
Whatever,
option?
mate. Honestly, times are hard. There isn't a lot of work about during COVID. I'll commentate wherever you like. Whatever, just you let me know what the day rate is, and I'll let you know if I'm available. There you go. There's an advert. We're looking forward to getting back to work. Let's put it that way. I love my wife and my dog, but I've had enough of sitting in the house. I enjoyed being at a track last weekend, and I'm looking forward to getting back to work properly. There's Kevin Hansen at the back of the pack, sliding up underneath Bennett and Perel. Nice move by him. You just got to be patient in turn 1. Bennett, unfortunately, tapping those tyres on the inside. It's so easy to do, isn't it, Neil? Just clip one of those tyres and end up spinning round.
Yeah, completely. It's my speciality on this game, and I've got a race coming up after this broadcast. I'm in a race at Liddon Hill straight after this.
Yes, Neil.
So
next up, TCF again.
So I should have Timmy Hansen. We should be able to see the incident in the next race. Hopefully that's in the highlights.
I'm sure it will be.
That's coming up next.
That's what's under investigation. I'm keeping one eye on my WhatsApp, which is where the investigations are underway. We've got someone who's then sent a message to the WhatsApp chat and then put sorry, wrong chat.
So race control is just like your own group.
Here we
chats.
go. So that do you know what? I don't think
That's
that is unfair.
Incident.
Yeah, no, but it's also the rear of the car has snapped around and tapped into the side of Van Gisbergen. This was Max Coates, though. Moment of the day, Max Coates. There would be a sponsor for that normally.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
some sort of, I don't know, believe it or not thing or whatever. And yeah, Max would definitely have got that reverse. It's over the line. Very cool. Right, I'm just checking through WhatsApp to see if we've got any more information coming in.
Man checks phone live on air.
He does indeed,
so
and there's nothing about the investigation just yet. So we'll see. We shall see.
But from our perspective, we called it live. It looked like they're side by side. He's not deliberately forcing him wide, so he's sitting wide. So as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't penalise that. It's a shame for Shane, but.
Yeah, looking at it in the replay, I would say racing incident. Looking at it in the race, it happened so quickly, I wasn't sure if Hansen had come in with a lot of extra pace. But either way, we have the provisional standings for you after Q3. And they are provisional because, as we say, Timmy Hansen is under investigation. So he won the session, but he could potentially be given a time penalty or even DQ'd. But Blomqvist, Hansen, Paye, Van Gisbergen, Svardal, Perel, Avjulu, Hansen, and who's in the top at the minute? Kevin Hansen's made his way in. Look. At the minute, Birmingrud and Jordan Pepper just holding on, but they have got a decent gap over Bachuska. So we'll see. We might see two South Africans making it through to the semis. Final qualifying session coming up now. Here we go. Okay, dry session for this one.
No Hayden Padden, no Mikasalo.
Yeah, so that's what I'm just looking at.
Jonathan Paye and Rokas Bachuska.
Yeah, Bachuska on the pole on your right. Jonathan Paye, we know, is super quick. And I have to say, fail race has impressed me, Alex Day, through the course of these competitions. He's up against some very, very good. Don't forget, he was in the Invitationals as well. Great start by Bachuska, unless it was a jump start.
Yeah, don't forget he got a jump start last round, qualifying 3. Yeah. And it looked like it could have been borderline again.
So Paye is right behind Bachuska. I think Paye in a 3-car race now, having lost the start, and I think being quicker than Bachuska, I think Paye will joker on lap 1. Let's see if I'm right. Watch for Jonathan Paye. He does. So Jonathan Paye goes joker 1. That's exactly the tactic I would expect him to employ when there are only 3 cars in the race. He's quicker than Bachuska, I think. Well, he won the last event, so you'd have to have him down for that. And he needed some air. So Paye now.
It's almost like you've done this before, Colin.
Yeah, once or twice. What was it? 196 races last year, and that was just supercar. We'll have to get at WRX Stats on Twitter to work out exactly how many races we've commentated. It'll be very difficult because we've covered more and more of the different classes over the last few years. So I've actually said if I should I end up not being the commentator anymore, I might go and be a spotter, Neil. I quite fancy it. High pressure, you know, risk reward, all the rest of it.
Very good. You could have told Fail Race to take the joker there, if nothing else, to get out of the way of Jonathan Paye, because that has really helped Jonathan to do an amazing time in lap 2, and now lap 3 he's right on the back of Rokas, who A, hasn't jokered yet, and B, might be facing another 20-second penalty for a jump start. So Paye is absolutely flying here.
Yeah, he needs Bachuska to joker now, really, and not wait until the 4th lap, but I don't think Rokas is going to, and he doesn't. So this is compromising Jonathan now. As I look up the inside, not quite enough room, but he's got a good drag on him down this straight. No chance really to pass into the chicane. He could potentially pass in turn 1. He'll know that Bachuska will have to joker on this last lap. Bachuska's not slow, as you can see, but you can see also that having
how the good drivers can straight line that final chicane. It seems like magic when they do it. It's like the dark arts. Such beautiful driving from Paye.
Really, really chasing hard. Now he's up the inside and has to back out of it because he knew Bachuska was going to go left. So Jonathan Paye definitely compromised in terms of lap time. Great strategy from him to take the win, an easy win as well. But unfortunately for him, it has cost him time. It's a 2:23, I think, for Paye. Oh, Bachuska with a big corner cut at the last corner there. Comes out with a 2:26.2. So I don't know if that was as a result of a penalty. But Bachuska completely cut the last corner. So 2:22.8 is the time for Jonathan Paye.
It wasn't a jump start in game, though, so that's interesting. It was a brilliant start from Rokas. So obviously he's got the handbrake release, launch control perfect, but still not quick enough after all that.
Ollie Bennett on the pole, Timmy Hansen, Tom Blomqvist, Jordan Pepper, and Kevin Hansen.
Wow, this is going to be a spicy fight, especially with Pepper in there. That wasn't a deliberate joke, nor was it funny. But...
So I was just doing my impression of Tumbleweed there, Neil, for just a second. Are you hoping to return to stand-up soon? No holds barred fighting between Coley and Cole. The next, we'll put a fight on for you next time we're together somewhere. Brilliant. That was great, mate. Thank you. Oh, you cheered me up no end. Right. Okay. So I'm not even sure if that's sarcasm or not. I'm having fun. That's the most important thing. We hope you're having fun at home and it's not just me and Neil that are enjoying this. That would be bad.
Please get in touch. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know if you're enjoying yourself. Opening the floodgates to a P45. Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen and Tom Blomqvist are our 3 title fighters. They have been taking their merry time with their settings because they're only just ready to go now. So 3 title fighters in this one together. Are we going to see a title deciding moment down at the bottom of the hill? Was it turn 6? I've never known the number. It's just the hairpin, the infamous hairpin. Blomqvist, the man chasing Timmy Hansen to his right. Timmy, in theory, with the better start slot. Inside Timmy, Ollie Bennett. Is Ollie going to see the lights in time today? Here we go. It's a great start by Timmy Hansen. Should be able to shut the door on Ollie Bennett. Look at the concentration on his face. Blomqvist gets into the side of him just a little bit. Jordan Pepper around the outside. Blomqvist up the inside. You're on board with Ollie Bennett. Hansen passes up the inside again of Blomqvist. It's Hansen with a whole shot. Bennett sideways in P3. Blomqvist disappeared to the right, but he's still there. Blomqvist has the line on the right-hand side on the brakes down into the chicane. But Ollie Bennett's got past him. Blomqvist will have to joker now. If he doesn't get collected from behind, and he does, Blomqvist goes straight to the joker to release himself from that fight with Ollie Bennett. It's Timmy Hansen and Ollie Bennett on the standard lap. Blomqvist and Pepper have jokered on lap 1.
The danger there with Blomqvist, he was in a fight with Ollie Bennett, and then he's going to got caught. Oh, I was going to say almost caught up with him again. Is that a puncture for Tom Blomqvist? He looked like the car bucked on its own on the straight. I think he might have a puncture.
Whatever it was, it's costing him time. So Blomqvist is 3.9 off the back of Timmy Hansen. Timmy could joker here early and cover them off, but he doesn't. So Timmy Hansen goes with the classic sort of world champion stance of, I'm staying out, I know I can do the lap times. And Neil, that's one of those things that you can only do when you've got the confidence that you get from winning a world title. You know, that thing of, you want to cover them off for safety, but you know you're fast enough. You know, for me, I'd cover them off because I doubt my own ability. But I think when you win a world championship, you don't doubt your own ability.
Yeah, and recently Timmy as well was crowned the first ever virtual champion of champions at Race of Champions too. So his confidence in the sim is at absolute maximum at the moment.
Yeah, he was racing a TN5 buggy with Thierry Neuville last weekend in real life. That wasn't quite to his liking in the same way his four-wheel drive supercar would have been. Blomqvist stalling up a little bit in the hairpin. Timmy Hansen in front, so Hansen does joker one lap before the end. Is that because they clocked the fact that Blomqvist was closing him down? It was a 1.3 gap either way for safety. They've gone on lap 3 instead of lap 4. Absolutely flying, Timmy Hansen is. Kevin Hansen is down in 4th place. Jordan Pepper in the mix here. Wasn't Pepper right on the cusp of not making it, I think, at the end of Q3, wasn't he? He was down in P10, but there were a few points back. So I think if Pepper gets a good time here, which looks like he will, I think that's going to guarantee him a spot in the semis, which means both South Africans will be in, I think. But we didn't see the third page, so maybe not. They were in at the end of the first session. Super quick over the start finish line for Kevin Hansen. Ollie Bennett looking like he's a bit more on it now. Well done, Ollie. Chucks the Mini over the line. There it is. It's a 2:21.5 for Timmy Hansen. That is quicker than Jonathan Paye went, but it is not as fast as they went in Q1 and Q2. So Shane van Gisbergen is in the very next race. And if anyone is going to deny Timmy of the drivers that remain, I would say it's Shane van Gisbergen. But he is on the outside of the grid. Inside him, Max Coates, David Perel, Orhan Avjolu, and Sivert Svardal. So Shane van Gisbergen, the winner, of course, was it Abu Dhabi where Shane won? It was, yeah, he won in Abu Dhabi. He was P2 in Norway. He missed out in Sweden. So van Gisbergen would have been right in the title fight. Bit gutting he is if I say he had to miss round 3.
Yeah, but, you know, real racing got in the way.
Yeah, you can live with that, can't you, when you're racing V8 supercars?
Especially when he came second, I think. Now. He had a P2 in that race, didn't he? I think in the real race, yeah.
Fantastic. 4 Peugeots and a Mini on the grid. Here behind Max Coates. On his outside is Shane Van
Is he still in
Gisbergen.
reverse?
I don't know. The whole race in reverse would be impressive, wouldn't it? Here we go. Watch for Van Gisbergen, hoping for a great start, ready to race. Light is about to go out. Was that a jump start, or was that just a mega start and these two missed it? I'm not sure there. Really not sure about that. It can be a little bit of a glitch sometimes where we don't see the lights and they do. But Shane Van Gisbergen has been mugged and he's going to try and recover. He's up to P4, going to try and slide up the inside here, but can't quite do it. He's into P3 though. Van Gisbergen up to P3. He could joke early, but he might end up in traffic. If he does, it's going to depend if he thinks the people in front are quick enough. He obviously is going to take a chance on it. David Perel and Sivert Svardal. We know Svardal's quick. Van Gisbergen, though, is up alongside almost. Nowhere to make a pass in the chicane, but if he can get a good exit, he might be able to do it into the first corner. No, still not. So David Perel, Svardal and Van Gisbergen. Is this going to compromise his time too much, Neil?
Well, I'm very impressed with Perel. I mean, he's clearly put in a lot of practice around here and is very comfortable sliding it on the gravel. So I don't think it's slowing down Shane too much because these guys out front have actually been consistently quite quick.
It's a spin in the lead. Perel, just as you were saying, David Perel makes a mistake, clips the barrier on the outside and spins the car around. That allows Shane Van Gisbergen through into the lead. Sivert Svardal has Joken and comes out behind David Perel, so was hoping to overlap him anyway. As Joken is now behind him. Look at that, Van Gisbergen out front with 2 laps to go, Neil. That's perfect for him.
Yeah, scratch everything I said about Perel getting happy on the gravel. He spun it on the gravel, so my commentator's curse. Apologies.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. I'm afraid. Yeah, not Perel's ideal situation that time round. Look at the line of Van Gisbergen. The car's absolutely straight, and it is again for Svardal. Svardal actually checked up a little bit. You can see David Perel actually looks quite frustrated. Down bottom right of your picture, he knows he made that mistake, which is going to cost him a decent time in this run. But as I say, very impressive indeed. How many drivers have we seen take part in virtual rallycross that we'd like to see in real life? There's many. This man particularly, we know it's a bit pie in the sky to expect that they might, but wouldn't it be nice to see him come and do a round?
It's Scott pie in the sky.
Yes, yeah, maybe. And who else? Yeah, we'd love to see our Ferrari driver, wouldn't we? Charles Leclerc come and have a go, but I think unfortunately Ferrari unlikely to release him from the contract or loan him a Ferrari to use in rallycross, but there you go. Over the line, Van Gisbergen takes it. Didn't quite see what the time was. We'll find out when Max Coates crosses the line. Here we go. Van Gisbergen's time is 2:21.6. It's just behind Timmy Hansen. Timmy Hansen was a 2:21.562. Shane Van Gisbergen is a 2:21.604. So the Van Gis, almost quickest. Lost out on that first lap, of course, and I suspect that was what made the difference. Henrik Krogstad is in the final race. Here he is. Krogstad is on the, where is he? Is he on the pole? No, he's on the outside. Krogstad is on the outside, my bad. So Bermingrud is on the pole. Farashkin, Whittock, Evans. Krogstad, we know is very fast, but he's going to have to do some serious work if he wants to try and beat the fastest time of Timmy Hansen. So Hansen is the target. I don't know if we've heard from race control about the previous session. Maybe they can update us on whether or not there will be a penalty for Timmy, or whether it's been decided that it was no action. Let you know as soon as we do. Still going on with the stewards. Wow. Looking at onboards then in that case. They can do that. Go back and look at the onboards from the various different cars. Tessa
Exactly
Whittock
like
in the middle of the grid,
November,
dropping back.
I was standing outside
is.
the steward's office waiting for their decision.
We were waiting, weren't we, for ages to make the highlight show. We can't make the highlight show until the stewards have made their decision, particularly not when it's the World Championship. Tessa Whittock getting beaten up over the jump bit sideways. It's Bermingrud who leads from Matvey Farashkin, and Bermingrud runs wide and hits the wall. Henrik Krogstad now into P2. So Krogstad chasing Farashkin. And in the background, Bermingrad's having an absolute mare. So I don't know if Bermingrad's got a puncture, but he hit the wall again just after the Joker split. So Bermingrud in the wars, or almost, yeah. Krogstad clipping the tyres on the inside. Tessa Whittock going with it. Go on, Tessa. So the Monster Energy drift driver getting stuck in
her VR headset full of dust when she was in the mix in that first lap. Would have been amazing. Oof.
Little nudge there from Evans, maybe pushing Bermingrud a little bit deep. Simon Evans has joked already and Bermingrud hasn't. Wonder if this time round Birmingham will go. Simon Evans really could do with it going, and he does. So that's handy for Simon Evans. You can see bottom right of your picture. Marius Birmingham has gone into the joke lap, and that releases Evans to chase him down.
I think Simon Evans lives in Monaco, so I wonder if he's driving from Monaco.
Very nice if he is. You can play that in a Codemasters game as well, F1 of course. Farashkin still leading from Krogstad, 4 seconds in it, 4.0. There's a lap to go. Farashkin's gone now. Is this to cover off Henrik Krogstad? He's a little bit wide. Where's Krogstad on the inside? Not near enough. Good job. So Matvey Farashkin has taken the Joker and comes out with a second lead. He's very, very spectacular for Ashkin, and he was pretty spectacular last year in the Skoda. I think that's probably an autocross thing, and probably needs to tidy it up a bit to find the ultimate lap times in real life.
Yeah, it's a shame when they tied it up because it's so spectacular to watch. But yeah, the second he gets it dialed, he's going to be an absolute weapon.
He's not short on Brave, that's for certain. So a couple of Brave pills every morning for Ashkin. Tidy through the hairpin. All the track, Matvey Farashkin. Can he threaten those top times? He can't. It's a 2:23 already. Farashkin crosses the line, going to take a 2:25, 2:26-ish. We're on board with Simon Evans over the line. And Birmingham, and we're waiting on Tessa with it. So Tessa, a good start. Didn't quite work out at the end. Farashkin, 2:25.7. There we are.
Nice. Is that qualifying over?
I think it is. It's flown by in a whirlwind of action, hasn't it?
Unbelievable. You put it so poetically. So Farashkin with 2:25.7. That's the slowest of the 4 qualifying 4 overall race times. What are you showing us? What's happening?
Dog's here.
Okay, I could see a mischievous glint in your eye.
He's upset, Neil. He's a seagull came into the garden. Dog update for you, whether you want it or not. A seagull came into the garden and took his yak bone, which is a treat which we bought him. It's a treat which costs £10 and lasts a long time, and it was only approximately £5 used, and a seagull has taken it. So I may be slightly more annoyed than Yogi. It was my £10.
It sounds like a homework excuse. A seagull nicked my yak bone.
I know it. It's heavy as well. It's a big, heavy thing that just came and took it. I couldn't believe it.
Is it actually the bone of a yak?
No, it's not. It's made out of yak's milk. So yeah, there you go. And then it's like super baked up and hardened, and dogs like it. Right, let's have a look at the replays. Sorry, dog update over and done. We thought you'd be interested. I live on the coast. Seagulls, everyone thinks they're brilliant. They're not. They're a pest. On to the replays from Q4. Another nomination for Blue Planet and a bit of wildlife coverage for myself and Neil Cole. Seagulls are pests. I do like them as well, though. There we go. Look at that. That was the banners getting destroyed. Dave and Phil, who put the banners up in real life, will have been very, very disappointed there with the actions of Rokas Batchuska. That would have been a lot of 2x1 nails and things that would have been needed to fix that. Timmy Hansen out front doing a great job in this session to take the win with a 2:21.5. That will stand him in good stead if this investigation comes in. So we don't know whether or not, look at that, more banner fixing for the boys. That banner on the inside of the last couple. You're better off taking the banners out, aren't you, Neil, than going ploughing through the tyres, as we've seen to Krogstad's cost earlier on today. Where are we now? So
from David Perel.
There we go. That's what it looks like when you're about to go racing. So that's not a replay of the replays. That's just a little look behind the scenes at one of the wonderful menus that Codemasters creates. Marius Birmingham crossing the line with Simon Evans right behind. It was a good battle between those two. We've seen some great fights all the way through. But we're going to try and we'll have the standings for you shortly. So stay with us for the standings, and you'll be able to see who's made it through to the semi-finals and the finals. You got your pencil out there, Neil?
Yeah,
I'm
ready to do the championship maths, because at the moment we're looking at the Timmy Hansen, Tom Blomqvist, Kevin Hansen sort of axis of win at the top, and want to see how those axis of win, and if we're going to have a Brodium today or not. So interesting.
Oh, he slid the Brodium in. He's got it done even before. Well done, Neil. I'm impressed. Seamless. It's a new word, by the way. It's been invented by, I think it was invented in the chat group, wasn't it, basically, and by our friends, the Hansons and the Yellow Squad. But yeah, will we have a Brodium or not? You'll find out soon enough. Qualifying is over on the last round from Cape Town as we wrap up the Esports Series for both the professional drivers and the esports drivers. So stay with us, because in the next hour, we're going to be crowning 2 champions. If you're just joining us, then hello. We are approaching the very final rounds of the FA World Rallycross Championship's first ever esports series. We're going to be crowning 2 champions in the next hour. One of those champions could potentially be the real-life FIA World Rallycross champion, Kevin Hansen, who's fought all the way through this series. He's currently at the top of the standings, but he's under investigation for qualifying, which has just finished. And he's in a bit of a title fight with Tom Blomqvist and his own brother, Kevin Hansen. Kevin, of course, was involved in that title fight in real life with him last year as well, down at Cape Town, where we're racing this time out. Neil Cole is joining me, Andrew Coley. We'll be bringing you the action for the next hour. Neil, it's been pretty exciting and close. For me, this is the hardest event so far for us to pick a winner from. We've got 4 or 5 guys who are really fast.
They are very, very close matched in times, but I can tell you, I can bring you a race control update. There has been a 5-second penalty for Kevin Hansen after the contact with Shane van Gisbergen in turn 2 of their qualifying 3 race for lap 1. So it was a hefty clout, and it did send the Giz off sideways. We called it that it was possibly a racing incident, but the stewards have looked at it and re-looked at it, and that is a 5-second penalty, which affects things considerably.
Yeah, okay, that's going to drop Hansen down the order. I'm trying to look back at Q3 and see where he was, because Timmy won a couple of sessions. Did he win Q3?
Yes, he won Q3.
Yes, he did. So that's going to, and it was Q3 the incident was in. So that's going to mean that he's lost the win in Q3, which saw him right up at the top of the table. I think he's still going to be right at the top of the table with only a 5-second penalty. I was worried, or not worried, I wondered if he might be DQ'd. Now, if he'd been disqualified from that race, that would have made a massive difference. So in some ways, the stewards have given him a slap on the wrist, but they've not gone that far. A 5-second penalty is just kind of like, look, we're watching you. This is the limit of what you can do. And I think Timmy will still make it through to go in that title fight. But he may lose a couple of championship points to Tom Blomqvist. So we've got the standings for you. Let's see how they are as we stand after 3 rounds and, of course, qualifying from here. South Africa, Cape Town, the final round of the FA World Rallycross Championship Esports Series. Let's have a look and see what the points are. 88 points for Kevin Hansen. Tom Blomqvist is now on 83. So Blomqvist has closed the gap by 1 point. It was 6 points between them. It's now only 5. Remember, the winner of each of the semi-finals will get 6 points. And then the final, it's 8 for the win, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's not over yet between them. Kevin Hansen, I'm just trying frantically to do the maths, is out of the equation, I think, for the championship, because he can't gain enough points, even if Timmy retired now, to take it. So it's a 2-way fight between Kevin Hansen and Tom Blomqvist for the real-life drivers in the World RX Esports Series. And, of course, don't forget, we've also got some esports professionals coming up for you too. So let's have a look at the standings after qualifying. Sorry, Neil. I think we've got the standings after qualifying coming up. Be able to see what effect that had on Timmy. The Q3 penalty. So, yeah, okay, yeah, dropped him considerably. Look, so he would have had 45 points. He would have had another 10 points, but it wouldn't have been enough, actually, to take the TQ from Tom Blomqvist. So Tom Blomqvist gets TQ. That's top qualifier with wins in Q1 and Q3. The win taken away from Kevin Hansen for that contact with Shane van Gisbergen, who is in 3rd place. Jonathan Pye in 4th. If you've been watching, Blomqvist, van Gisbergen and Pye have won the 3 previous events. Kevin Hansen hasn't actually won an event, but is leading the championship. So it is all to play for as we head to the semi-finals and the final. Kevin Hansen and Marius Bermingrid, look, are the last 2 to make it through to the semi-finals. So we've got a decent battle all the way down to P10, 5 cars in each of those semis. Neil, what were you saying about Timmy?
No, so what I was going to say is Kevin, because of course he disconnected and didn't set a time in the first qualifying session, Q1, he is now on level points. So he was in a solid 3rd place in the championship, but as we expected, Shane van Gisbergen is the threat. And he's now on level points, championship-wise, with Kevin Hansen. So Kevin's in danger of dropping off the overall podium at the end of the series.
Which is
and of course, the person who's put him in that position is the Giz.
Yeah, Van Gogh driving his car. Never ideal when Shane van Gisbergen comes along, drives your car and takes some points. Van Gisbergen missed one round for racing in real life. So Shane van Gisbergen missed round 3. And as a result of that, he can't fight for the title, but he can certainly fight for a podium. We are going to have a chat with David Perel. So David is one of our drivers who's taking part today. And I think we've got him on the line. South African GT driver. There he is. David, can you hear us?
Yeah, loud and clear, guys. Thanks for having me in the race. It's a pleasant surprise.
Oh, mate, thank you so much for joining us. It's much appreciated. So you're racing at home in Cape Town, South Africa in the game. Whereabouts are you in real life? Are you down in South Africa now, or are you elsewhere in the world?
I'm based in London these days because of the GT racing program. Prior to COVID was flat out, but I am missing home, and Killarney is where I grew up doing all of my racing. I raced at that kart track almost every single weekend. So
it's a great complex, isn't it? So many different circuits, so many different configurations at Killarney. But I've been aware of your work, David, for a while because you've been right on the cusp of real racing and sim racing. You know, for you're one of the sort of OGs in this. So give us an idea of how this matches up during sort of lockdown, how racing has been in sim racing versus real racing.
So there's a popular saying going around that the cars may not be real, but the competition is. And that's always what I've used sim racing for. It's more from the competition element, practicing sort of the mental game, overtaking maneuvers, all that kind of stuff. And these days we've had the pleasure of racing against a lot of real life competitors who I race against in real life. So I'm starting to get an even better understanding of their character in the game. So yeah, I've always had a huge passion for this. I've always wanted to sort of blend the two together. And this COVID situation, I know it's not good for everyone, but in the racing world, it's kind of brought that closer to reality.
And in terms of rallycross, David, is it something that you followed at all? You know, is it something we can persuade you again? You know, we've already asked Jordan if we could maybe get him to come and do something. Would you fancy a crack at it?
Oh, absolutely. I truly haven't had this much fun on a sim in a long, long time. I don't know, the physics and everything that they've dialed into this game, it gives us this feeling of realism. So we've both had a lot of fun. Jordan and I started playing about 2 or 3 days ago, but we've been doing quite a bit of practice together because we didn't want to embarrass ourselves today, especially carrying the South African flag. But yeah, basically we've just had a blast. So I'm pretty sure that if you invited both of us, we'd be back in a heartbeat.
And of course, Cape Town has been very good for us when we've been there as a town. Is it nice to sort of virtually be there again and be at this racetrack that you know so well?
Yeah, absolutely. That just makes me miss home more. I haven't been there in a long time because of just pre-lockdown. I was planning on going, but you can't actually travel out of there at the moment. So if I went there, I'd be stuck there and there'd be no real racing. But I'm looking forward to getting back and also doing some karting there again at some point.
Fantastic. David, thanks so much. Wish you the best of luck. And say thanks for taking part. I know the fans at home really appreciate it. So thanks for your time.
Pleasure, guys. Thank you again.
Great stuff. Fantastic to hear from some of our drivers. We've got a few interviews in today. Of course, they're not the only drivers. We've got our sim racers as well coming up. We've got semi-finals and finals for them. Not quite sure on the championship standings for the sim racers. I know it's very close between the two Dal Olmo brothers, Quinton Dal Olmo and Kilian Dal Olmo as well. Kilian being the world champion from esports. And I think we're going to be heading to the grids for, in fact, our sim racers now. So here we go, semi-final time. So esports semi-final number 1. We have got Nigel Cross, Tommy Hallman, Johan Lundqvist, Lucas Mateja, and Kilian Dal Olmo. You can see both Dal Olmo and Hallman driving for Set Esports. Mateja has been a big threat throughout this series. They've stuck to their liveries as well throughout the progress of the game, which is great for us trying to keep up with them. Dal Olmo races in real life, or has raced in real life. Him and his brother have both raced cross kart in France, and Tommy Hallman, of course, has just been competing recently in the RX Academy, which is run by Set Promotion, who run the Gronholm RX team in real life. So there is more crossover to this game and this sport than you might imagine when first meets the eye. Drivers now signing for the esports versions of the real teams. Go on, Neil.
Just a reminder for people joining us that the semi-finals, the top 2 automatically go through to the final, and then the quickest across both semi-finals joins them. So it's a final of 5. Top 2 is what you're aiming for to get through.
Okay, here we go. Waiting for a green light. Very, very long hold indeed. Good start on the outside as we'd expect for Dal Olmo and Mateja. Dal Olmo edging the field, but he's on the outside. Can he do anything from there? Nigel Cross goes deep on the brakes. Del Olmo gets pushed out wide as well. Mateja's made it up into P2. Potentially going to lose that position now, though, to Nigel Cross. I think Nigel Cross up the inside and to the back of the pack. Johan Lundqvist there in the Audi, just behind Kilian Del Olmo. So Del Olmo's lost out at the start. On a spin, Mateja gets pushed round, clatters the barrier on the inside, gets hooked up, and then a spin for him. 3 cars into the Joker lap, including Kilian Del Olmo, the world champion at DiRT Rally 2.0 in the esports world. He raced with our professional drivers in our invitationals prior to the Esports Series starting, but it's not a good start for Kilian Del Olmo. You can't bet against him, though, Neil. If there's anyone can find a way through, he can. Mateja looking to lean on him. Can't quite make it stick here. Can he? Still can't. Nigel Cross, now finally gets around the outside. So Del Olmo now free to chase down Hellman and Lundqvist, but it's a big gap, Neil.
Yeah, but the thing that always impresses me about these sim racers is how they recover from a spin or hitting a wall. Mateja's shown how good he can be at that, but that is a disaster.
Cross with the disaster there as well. So Cross spinning and dropping to the back of the pack. Coming up to the start-finish line, backs it in. But it's Hellman leading from Lundqvist. I want to see what the gaps are. Didn't see them this time round. 3.4 seconds between Hellman and Lundqvist. Yeah, Del Olmo, look, he's visibly still a couple of seconds back. I reckon Tommy Hellman can take this, Neil. I think Lundqvist might be in danger of getting overlapped, and in fact, I think he's gone Joker. So Lundqvist is in the Joker, and there goes Kilian Del Olmo into P2. Tommy Hellman is absolutely miles out front. So Tommy Hellman competing in Renault Clios in real life in the RX Academy. Championship run by Jussi Pinomäki, so he's the man behind Set Promotion, the Super 1600 team, Gronholm RX, and also, in fact, has a lot to do with the event in Finland that the World Championship is going to. So that's all great stuff. Fantastic guy who is just one of the most organised, calmest people I've ever met in the rallycross paddock. Tommy Hellman, being coached by him and by several other leading coaches from the world of motorsport towards becoming a professional driver, and he's smashing it here, Neil, but he's got to watch out for Del Olmo, because Del Olmo, we know how fast he is, and he's in clear air here.
But Tommy's absolutely got this perfect, he's got a chance of really just nailing in all these laps and doing a perfect Joker. Is he going to Joker this lap to try and cover off that gap? No, he's saving it till the final lap for the Joker. He's confident he's got enough of a gap to go in and out on the last lap.
5.6 seconds was the gap. What is it as they cross the start-finish line this time round? Not going to see, frustratingly. You were looking at the battle in the middle of the pack. Here is Tommy Hellman now in the black Peugeot. So Tommy Hellman going to go Joker on the last lap. And he's actually edged Del Olmo by a little bit more. It was 5.5 seconds. Kilian Del Olmo is being beaten here by Tommy Hellman. Tommy Hellman coming up towards the start-finish line. A brilliant performance to take the win in semi-final 1. He goes through, but Kilian Del Olmo, who is in the championship fight, is surely going to book a spot as well. Not sure who we were on board with there. Nigel Cross, of course, had the spin. Nigel sends it backwards. 360 spin on the brakes. Yes, Nigel, get in. That's what we like. And again over the line. He's the second man today to cross the line backwards. But importantly, Tommy Hellman has gone through with the win. Kilian Del Olmo, the world champion, the Set Esports driver, goes through in P2. And he's in the title fight. So it's important for him that he made it through at that point. Then it's Johan. I'm just making a note of his time, which is a 3:34. We'll have to see if that's going to be the fastest loser, or whether the fastest loser will come from this semi-final 2. So good job by Kilian Del Olmo to fight back from a tough first lap. Okay, on to semi-final 2 for the esports drivers. Jonna Olakainen on the pole. Then it's Quinton Del Olmo, John Harris, Jared Pesch, and Daniel Johansson. Johansson in the Mini on the outside. Their team boss sent me a message this morning and said a big thank you from the No Control Esports team for the Esports Series. Our pleasure. Glad you guys were along to take part, along with some of our other teams. Such a big deal now, esports, particularly with the games being so realistic, and it's just fantastic to see the real-life drivers lining up alongside the esports drivers.
Real chance for John Harris in this to make his way up into the podium contention overall after a disastrous semi-final 1 for Lucas Mateja.
Yeah, he was just 2 points behind Matasia, and Matasia hasn't made it through, has he? So if John Harris goes through here, he's definitely going to take P2 off Lucas Matasia in the series, because of course Matasia won't be. That is a massive cut on the inside though for John Harris. No, not John Harris. Who was that? Somebody made a huge cut. I'm not sure it wasn't Quinton Del Olmo, in which case I think he's almost certain to get a penalty. We're looking at Jared Pesh in P2. Yeah, I think it's Del Olmo, Neil. So I think it's Quinton Del Olmo. Huge cut on the inside of turn 1, but we'll need to see if he was pushed into that cut or whether he just took it, because it's a big enough cut for me that he'll definitely get a penalty. What do you think, Neil?
Often driver standards among sim racers are, they will boast that they're better than the real racers when they jump on the sim, but that was a chaotic turn 1 from pretty much everyone in this race.
Yeah, a bit of carnage, definitely. Jared Pesh in P2 for me then, looking like the man who's most likely to go through, because you'd have to have a big question mark over Del Olmo. Pesh is in the Joker lap, John Harris in the standard lap on the inside. I thought it was Harris we were looking at initially, and things were changing so quickly on that first lap. So John Harris is up into P2. Jared Pesh has jokered already. If John Harris makes it through to the semi-finals, then he's beaten Lucas Matasia in the championship. At the minute, it was Kylian Del Olmo leading his brother Quinton by 1 point. Kylian Del Olmo has gone through, of course. Quinton Del Olmo, if he wins this semi-final and he's not given a penalty, he'll be equal with his brother as we go into the final. And that would mean it would be the two Del Olmos up against each other, equal on points. Would be a fantastic end to this championship. But I think the stewards are going to have a look. Well, we're going to have a look at turn 1 for a start and try and figure out, was he pushed to the inside or did he just take a big cut? And if it's a big cut, if it's the latter, and that's if he hasn't got an in-game penalty, Neil.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, won't it? Because the game gives you penalties, but there are several places where you can kind of hack the circuit and go wide and it doesn't penalise you. And the drivers I know in the Discord chat were kind of agreeing that they wouldn't take the lines that would technically be cheating, and that wasn't one of them. So it definitely wasn't deliberate. It was a result of evasive action, but whether the game gives them a penalty, then is it overturned? There's a lot for the stewards to decide after this race.
Yeah, there is, and they're going to have their work cut out. Luckily, we're heading off to see the semi-finals for the real life drivers before we come back to the esports final. So we'll have a decision before we need to get to that final race, those final frantic 6 laps to decide a title. Feels like it felt in real life, doesn't it, Neil? The pressure was just incredible for everybody taking part, both on the competition side and the TV side. I think we just had such a wonderful event in Cape Town, so we're sorry we're not going down there this year, but we'll be back soon. On to the final lap for Quinton Del Olmo, Jared Pesh in P2, Jonna Olakainen in P3. I was going to say, fastest loser could be Olakainen, but it could be Hansen if Del Olmo is given a big enough penalty or any penalties. We say he might get an in-game penalty and have that overturned. So I think you're going to have to take the results of this one, I'm afraid, with a pinch of salt, and we're going to have to wait and see what the stewards decide in the meantime. We are, of course, all bringing this to you from home, thanks to COVID. So the stewards are up in our technical headquarters at Motorsport Games. They'll be looking at the replays. They can actually choose to look at the replays on board. Pesh takes it from Quinton Del Olmo. Jonna Olakainen gets P3. So a win for Jared Pesh. Brilliant performance. Takes semi-final number 2. John Harris with a spin over the line. So Harris has gone out, meaning that I think Matasia was ahead of, I think he was 4th. So Matasia and John Harris are going to hold on to those spots. Daniel Johansson was in 5th place. Tommy Hellman, I don't think Tommy can take enough points, because Tommy, I'm just looking, is down in 6th in the championship standings. So Jared Pesh with the win. It's Jonna Olakainen with a 3:31 is the fastest loser, but that depends on the stewards. It's all under investigation, we've just heard.
So Jonna has done well. Jonna Olakainen's done well to get through to the final there, the final round. And interestingly, dependent on stewards' inquiries, the Del Olmo brothers are on the 2nd row for the final. You know what I mean? Technically, in the way that the grids would normally work out, they're not pole position. Tommy Hellman and Jared Pesh would be up front.
Well, well, obviously they're going to be starting in a line, so is it going to be a fight for the world? I've got to be honest, I'm kind of hoping that Quinton doesn't get a penalty, because if he doesn't get, I know he won't actually be equal on points either, because he's been beaten by Jared. So with Jared taking the win, actually Kylian took the win, so Kylian's going to be two points off him. I've no idea. There you go. As always, live maths. We do have a WhatsApp group for this, and we'll be whipping people into action to bring us the points ahead of the final. So the final for esports will be coming up later on. We've got two semi-finals for real life, for our real life drivers coming up before that. So that's plenty of time for the stewards to decide what happens. It is going to be a championship fight between Killian and Quinton, assuming Quinton goes through to the final. So it does depend. This could rather hand the title to Killian because, Neil, Lucas Matasia, John Harris haven't made it. And as it stands, Daniel Hansen hasn't either, depending on how harsh the penalty is this time round for Quinton Del Olmo. So we'll see. It's complicated. Now, a man who knows about complicated situations with the stewards down in Cape Town is Timmy Hansen, who is going to be able to join us in just a moment. He is the real-life FIA World Rallycross champion, and he hasn't had the chance to defend that title once yet because Timmy has been, like the rest of us, laid up thanks to COVID. Timmy, are you practicing?
Yeah, I'm getting some laps in to get my rhythm back. So I was playing some ping pong with Kevin just outside, and now I'm getting some laps in again before the semi.
all the reactionary sports, so ping pong and a bit of practice. I love the fact you're doing some laps now. Are you in semi 1 or semi 2?
Semi 2.
Okay, so you've got some time for laps. So what's the score then? Are we feeling the pressure from Tom? It's not quite as much pressure, I'm sure, as it was in Cape Town last year.
No,
Kevin shaking his head.
But of course, a lot of things remind me of that race. Of course, racing there again, although it's virtual, it's a special place for me. And Tom got the TQ and I was second. It's a shame with that penalty, but that's okay. I think there was some game lag, when me and Shane are quite far apart. I'm in Sweden and he's in Australia, I guess. I think there was some game lag and I pushed him there. So totally didn't mean to do that, but the game does that sometimes. So I'm sure he felt that was harsh, and I probably deserved the penalty in that way. So being second now, I still have pole for my semi-final and still have to put everything together to hopefully try to win today. But it's not gonna be easy. I mean, they practice a lot. They're super fast, and I respect that a lot. They're good rallycross drivers, although they haven't been racing in real. It's going to be an interesting 2 races ahead now, the semi and the final.
Now, when this all started, Timmy, the World RX Esports Series, you were the first to admit that you came to it later than Kevin, but you've adapted very quickly. Is that to do with the amount of time you've been able to put into it? What's been the key for you to unlocking the gaming side of racing?
Yeah, so before all the esports races, it was more or less, playing with your friends, and I was never really fast. But once it became a sport, like esports, then I started practicing as I would practice for anything else. And I think the sessions I've put in here in the sim has been like really towards going fast in whatever game I'm gonna drive. So 2 weekends ago, I guess it was both WRX and the Race of Champions. That was tough. And in 2 different games, but I've been sitting down here and I've been planning my time and getting some proper training in. It's different from playing, so I'm actually practicing. I don't know really how to explain it, but I'm quite focused on what to do, and it's paid off so far.
Timmy, thanks ever so much, mate. Wishing you the best of luck this afternoon, Well, world champion in real life, Race of Champions champion, and aiming for the esport. No pressure, mate, but we're looking at a triple crown here, so make sure you get amongst it. You're representing Rallycross here.
I am. Thanks. Good talking to you.
Thanks, Timmy. Cheers, mate.
You too, Timmy.
So that's interesting. Timmy being really honest there, saying that actually, although game lag caused it, it was a harsh contact, and therefore he felt the penalty was fair. So, and I think good of the stewards as well. 5 seconds is fair enough. If it was to do with game lag as well, they've made a point, and it's all good. So, championship fight coming up. Semi-final number 1. Tom Blomqvist on the pole, the TQ man and a previous winner. Next to him, another previous winner, Shane van Giersberg. And then it's Sivert Svardal, Orhanav Jolu, and Kevin Hansen on the outside. Kevin will want to get through to the final if he can. He will support his brother in that final, and by that I mean support him tactically. They will race fair as they try to in real life as well. I know depending on who you support, there's always going to be hard feelings in motorsport. We've got a bit of a Senna and Prost situation with Baccarat and Hansen, but it's great for us as fans and as viewers when you've got people that are so passionate about the sport racing against each other so hard. Van Gisbergen on the right and Blomqvist, they're the ones you need to watch. Better start by Van Gisbergen. Get to edge Blomqvist surely down to turn 1. Kevin Hansen out on the wide side of the grid. Sideways in for Van Gisbergen, gets a little bit too deep. And Blomqvist gets back up underneath him. So Blomqvist making a pass for the lead. It's Blomqvist, Van Gisbergen, and Kevin Hansen in the dust. He's in P3, so the two cars are identical. The first one is Van Gisbergen, the second Kevin Hansen. Kevin, though, getting mugged slightly from behind. A little bit of contact there. And I think he's been spun round to the inside. Kevin Hansen was spun round to the inside of chicane. He's gone. So Kevin Hansen's gone even earlier than he went in real life in the final last year in Cape Town. He's gone.
Effect between Orhan Avjoglu and Sivert Svardal as a kind of cannon. And at the end of that cannon was Kevin Hansen being fired into the tyres, unfortunately.
So Tom Blomqvist with a great start with Shane Van Gisbergen right behind, and the carnage behind for Svardal, Avjoglu and Kevin Hansen means that none of those guys, I think, are going to feature potentially, Neil, as the fastest loser, because you'd have to fancy that the other semi-final will have a quicker loser than this one with the carnage they had on lap 1.
And if Shane Van Gisbergen does have a spotter, that was very smart to send him into the Joker, because there was a clear gap that he could slot into so that he could not be caught in Tom Blomqvist's dust, but get out ahead of the trailing pack behind.
You're looking at Orhan Avjoglu with Kevin Hansen all over his back bumper. Kevin, I don't think he's going to be able to follow. Even if he finds a way past, he'd have to be fastest loser in third unless there's an absolute disaster out front. Van Gisbergen has jokered another spin for Kevin. Kevin Hansen definitely gone. Van Gisbergen is 3.1 seconds off the back of Blomqvist. So it's Shane Van Gisbergen who is hunting down Tom Blomqvist. Blomqvist has gone Joker. So Blomqvist has gone Joker and he's going to come out in front. He is in front of Shane Van Gisbergen. So Blomqvist Jokers in response to Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen went early. Blomqvist responded immediately to cover him off. And now, Neil, they've got to fight on track for another 2 laps.
Yeah, very smart. I mean, because it's not about time, because it's about position, they're safely the top 2. So really, the gears can kind of relax a little bit and follow Tom round. But, you know, Tom has clattered the wall there. So, you know, they're not taking it easy, these two. They're still pushing.
They are indeed. We're hearing that Sivert Svardal is under investigation. That will be for the start of this race, we think.
I'm pretty sure it'll be the contact with Orhan that put him into Kevin Hansen. Is how I read that, because that was sort of a domino effect.
And of course, he is currently, Neil, going to be of these, he would be the guy who potentially would be fastest loser from semi-final number 1. So again, 2 from each semi going through, and then the fastest loser, Sivert Svardal. Not only has he been held up by that contact that he was involved in, but now the stewards are investigating as well. So if he gets a penalty on top of the lost time in the race, it definitely won't be Svardal who is the fastest loser. Very fast in real life, was crowned European Rallycross champion for touring car, 2-litre rear-wheel drive cars. Unfortunately, a tiny fuel irregularity meant that he lost that title, having been given it, you know, literally a couple of hours before. It's absolutely gutting as a driver. I think, as far as I'm aware, wasn't anything that was too suspicious about it either. You know, it was unlucky. No such problems for Tom Blomqvist. Going to take semi-final number 1. Crosses the line for the win. Shane Van Gisbergen going through as well. So that's 2 of our previous winners making it through to the final here at Cape Town. Svardal gets third, but he's under investigation. You're on board with Orhan Avjoglu and Kevin Hansen in the background as well. They'll both make it to the line, but it's going to depend what the stewards say as to whether either of them is in line for fastest loser. And I'm afraid with the problems they've had in semi-1, highly unlikely. So Blomqvist and Van Gisbergen are the first 2 pro drivers to qualify for the final. Five-second penalties for Svardal and Avjoglu, but I don't think that's going to be, it's not enough. It would put Kevin up into P4, but it's still, the thing is, even if Kevin ended up in P3, they can't adjust Kevin's time. So I say we're having investigations done for those 2, but I think basically the fastest loser now is definitely going to come from semi-final number 2. This one has Timmy Hansen, the championship leader, the World Rallycross champion in real life, on the inside. He won the Race of Champions a couple of weekends ago. He leads this series. You know, what can we see a third crown for Timmy before we get racing underway in real life in 2020? Jonathan Pye was the winner last time out in Sweden. There's David Perel in the middle of the grid and Jordan Pepper representing South Africa racing at home, and Marius Bermengrid on the outside.
It's great to see a couple of our rookies doing well, getting straight through to the semis, because it's not easy. And representing South Africa, Jordan and David are doing extremely well to put it in the semi-final, considering some of the names that have gone out.
And I think highly likely now, Neil, that we're going to see one of them in the final, which is great for our South African fans. And I know we're on TV down in South Africa, so hello if you're watching down there. Hopefully you're going to see a South African in the final. Now what you need to do is persuade them in real life to take part in World Rallycross, because we will be back to Cape Town, as I say. Unfortunately, we're not coming this year thanks to the COVID. But if we could get one of those guys in a real-life Rallycross car next time we're down there, I'm sure that would set the fans off while having a braai. We could have a good old party down in Cape Town. I'd be well up for that.
Definitely. Interestingly, we will probably now see, almost definitely see Kevin off the overall championship podium. So Shane van Gisbergen looks like he's in the hot seat to take third in the World Rallycross Esports Series overall. But Timmy Hansen versus Tom Blomqvist is the real question now. So Tom was quick in that last heat in the semi-final. 33 point, just in the low 33s is a very fast lap time. In the 32s, I've seen Tom go before. I wonder what Timmy's quickest time. We've not seen what Timmy's actual quickest personal PB is. But Timmy has got pole position in the semi-final too, and a chance to really stretch his legs and seal his position on the front row. Again, it's all in the line, but you know what I mean. Best position for the final coming up very soon.
We have got a couple of messages come in. So 5-second penalties, as you saw, confirmed for Svardal and Avjulu for the contact in turn 3 and 4. Johan Kristoffersson apparently is watching. Hello, Johan. We saw Johan last weekend. It was very much world champion, back on form. Pouring rain up at Hollius. He wasn't even in this year's car, and he was absolutely bang on the pace. I think it's quite ominous for the other drivers in the World Championship, but it makes me very excited indeed to get back to work. We saw Niklas Gronholm and Marcus Gronholm, of course, using the same car. Marcus went quicker than Niklas on day one. Have a look for that on social media if you haven't seen it already. It was my favourite moment of the weekend. I said the words, he's gutted, and he was. His dad beat him. So the real-life World Rallycross Championship, hopefully getting underway towards the tail end of August. Head to the FA World Rallycross Championships website. Of course, all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, if you want to keep up to date. Maybe we've got some people watching this who don't normally watch real-life Rallycross. You need to watch real-life Rallycross. It's the one motorsport where I would argue that the real-life racing is sometimes even more outrageous than the game. Neil?
I'm just noticing that we may well already have something. Tom Blomqvist has taken the lead in the championship over Timmy Hansen by 1 point. So Timmy really does have to pull it out of the bag, have a really clean and safe semi-final.
I can't see how those points are correct, Neil. If they qualified first and second, we're doing live points. Sorry, we're just waiting on getting things together. So as far they were 1 point apart, weren't they, in qualifying? Blomqvist taking the TQ from Timmy, so that would put them on. They were 5 points apart. Sorry, coming into this. Maybe
Timmy that's with the
semi?
semi-final win from Tom. Maybe that's already counting Tom's.
Yeah, but Timmy's gone through as well. So 6, 5, 4. Where did Timmy go through? Did he take the win or was he second? Look at me and Neil frantically adding up for you live on air.
No, we haven't had that race yet. We haven't had semi-2 yet. So
of course, I'm with you. So that's why.
Tom.
I've got you. Yeah. So So without the second semi-final at the minute, Blomqvist leads. But true. So if Timmy doesn't make it through, he's had a shocker because Blomqvist has, and that does add some pressure, Neil. Yeah. So that's championship points update in between semi-finals has blown my mind. And has never happened
it's the
before.
Future, Coley.
I can't cope with an update in between semi-finals. I'm like, well, do you remember we used to have a predictor that happened with one race to go at the end of a session, and it was impossible to explain. But there we go. We ditched it in the end. So we're nearly ready to go racing. Apologies, just a little issue with some connections. Just a man frantically plugging things in and out. It's actually much more complicated than that. It's nowhere near as manual.
Shame for
we'll be ready for
Kevin Hansen.
Too.
It's a shame for Kevin Hansen in that last week because it was completely beyond his control, the way that he was sort of forced out of contention in semi-final 1. And you can see when we had the conversation with Timmy, he was next to him in the sim. So now he can just put all of his efforts into helping his bro win this.
So Timmy Hansen needing to go through. As Neil pointed out, we've had an update on points after semi-1 with Blomqvist through and with the win. He was 5 points behind. At this point, he would be 1 point in front. Now, if Hansen came last in this semi-final, I think it would be 2 points. So, in fact, that would put him 1 point in front. But Blomqvist would still have another race to go. Got an issue there at the start, so I'm afraid we've maybe got a problem here. Okay, not quite sure, but Timmy Hansen on the inside. You're on board with him as we run down towards turn 1. You heard the blip of the start lights changing, but the drivers obviously didn't see that their end. So I say the guys are working hard to get all our glitches sorted at the minute. Timmy Hansen leading from Jonathan Paye. Paye, the winner last time out in Sweden. In the background, David Perel and Jordan Pepper. So it's Marius Bermingrud that's at the back of the pack. Neil, if Perel or Pepper finishes in P3, it will be a South African that goes through as the fastest loser, which would be great.
Yeah, amazing and you know, impressive, but done purely on, you know, talent. It's not been a series of attritional races. They've got there on merit.
So a few more messages coming through. We're hearing that Kylian Delormeau will be the champion. So trying to figure out if there's been a penalty for his brother or not. We'll get an update for you from race control on that. What the penalty is going to be from the esports side of things. Meanwhile, David Perel is in the standard lap. Bermingrud has gone joker already. There are 2 green Peugeots. There he's in the background, Bermingrud. I think Pepper's going to get him. So Jordan Pepper's going to come out in front of Bermingrud, and those 2 have jokered. So David Perel, I wonder if he might respond to Pepper's joker lap. Timmy Hansen, Paye's going with him. Look, Jonathan Paye is looking quick. Neil, Timmy could potentially win this championship without taking a win. It would be rather nice if he rounded the season out with a win.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? He could get through to the final already, technically, mathematically on points, far enough ahead to win. But you know, he's under pressure. He'll have that if he's got virtual mirrors. He'll be able to see Jonathan Paye in his rearview mirror, but also he'll have that annoying kind of chevron white arrow flicking around the screen, showing him that everywhere he goes, he's got a rival that is matching him within a second of his time.
Kevin Hansen, look, you can see in the background of Timmy, absolutely watching like a hawk. If he can give him any information, he will. At the minute, you can see there's not a lot being said to Timmy. No tactics
Paye
needed
jokers.
other than just keep it clean. Paye gone joker around the outside. So Jonathan Paye is in the joker lap now. I think he's going to come out in front of David Perel. He does.
Yep.
So 2 laps to go, Paye and Perel. Perel's looking quick. I'm impressed with the South Africans very much. This is not an easy game to get on top of that quickly. And David Perel actually closing down on Paye. Paye a little bit deep on the brakes into turn 1. And David Perel is right there with him.
Yeah, we spoke to David Perel earlier, didn't we? And he's an absolute master on a sim. So it would have taken him maybe half a day to dial in exactly how to get this game right. But it's no slouch, and look, he is right on the rear bumper of Jonathan Paye, who's a massively experienced French rallycross driver and, as you say, event winner in this series. Timmy Hansen.
Apologies, technical issue my end. So yeah, if Perel can get past here, he's guaranteed a place in the final, but he doesn't really need to, Neil, because we know this is going to be quicker than semi-final number 1. Timmy Hansen comes out from the joker lap, going to go through to take the win. The championship leader is through to the final safely. Jonathan Paye and David Perel. And Perel's so much faster, I think, than semi-1 that I'm pretty sure it will be him that goes through. Over the line, Pepper tags the wall, so it's Timmy Hansen and Jonathan Paye guaranteed a place. David Perel with a 3:31.0, looking favourite to go through as well. Bring you the grid for that in a moment. So we've had a message come through during that race to say that Quinton Delormeau has been given a 5-second penalty for his part basically in that semi-final, which was the big cut in turn 1. That's why Kylian is the champion. We were wondering. Kylian's been given a penalty. He won't make it through to the final. And as we said, Neil, in some ways, Kylian, well, let's take a look at the grid and we can talk about it during the race. But Kylian Delormeau, the champion, because basically none of his rivals have made it through to this final encounter.
Yeah.
So Tommy Hellman is on pole with Joni Olakainen next to him. Then Kylian Delormeau, 3 set promotion drivers. I'm sure the 2 of those, Hellman and Olakainen, won't get in the way of Kylian Delormeau. Not that he needs any help. He is the champion already. Jared Pesch and Johan Lundqvist completing the grid.
So this won't just be a simple lap of honour, though, for Kilian, because the other 4 drivers alongside him are going to really try and, beat him around this tricky circuit. And of course, there's still a little bit of championship pride to play for as well.
Yeah, in some ways here, they can just all go full send, because actually with Del Olmo with the title tied up already, it doesn't matter what happens. So let's just hope we have an absolute banger of a race. This is the last race for our esports professionals in World RX's Esports Series. We sincerely hope you've enjoyed the action. 2 invitationals and a 4-round series to plug the gap before we go real racing. It's been fantastic to have the esports guys along. They drive the cars a little bit differently. They are very good indeed. We are going to ride on board with the world champion from Dirt Rally 2.0 and now the esports champion as well for World RX. Down towards turn 1, deep on the brakes, full send, full confidence. Kilian Del Olmo is going to come out of this with a whole shot sideways into turn 2. So brave on the way, and someone up his inside, not quite, a lot of dust in the background. It's Del Olmo, and then it's Pesh and Lundqvist in the background, swapping places. Jared Pesh holding on to P2. But Kilian Del Olmo with a whole shot again, Neil. You can see Tommy Howman down in the bottom right corner, fully dressed in his racewear with his hat on and everything. So that's a man who's fully focused for this game. It's Del Olmo leading Pesh, Howman in third, Lundqvist and Olakainen at the end of lap 1.
And that is how you do it. This is an absolute masterclass in how to do the Cape Town Killarney Raceway on Dirt Rally 2.0 by the best in the world. And what will be interesting as well for the real sport drivers coming up waiting for their final is they will know that this will be the weather, the sunset, dry conditions, that they will be able to see that the weather should be the same for both finals. So they will know they won't have to get the wet tyres on and cope with the slightly less grip. So, but this is such a great display from all 5 of these, but especially Kilian Del Olmo.
Del Olmo somehow has the talent to be able to bring himself out of trouble. It didn't go his way through the whole series. He's had his little moments where it hasn't gone quite his way. Certainly at the first round at Abu Dhabi, he got P3 there, but he won in Norway and he won in Sweden, and he's like trying to take a 3rd win here. Crowned champion anyway, thanks to his brother getting a penalty. Oh, contact there. Very, very reminiscent of the real-life world title fight last year. Jared Pesh finding a gap up the inside. Kilian Del Olmo, though, managing to hold on. Pesh still looking to try and take a win off him. Jared Pesh would love to finish the season with a win. Gets up inside the rear 3/4 again, but just can't quite get alongside. Has another look now. Contact between them again. Tommy Howman in the mix now. Howman going to try and make a pass on Jared Pesh if he's not careful. They've got to watch out for Jonna Olakainen as well. I'm trying to look at the gap back to Olakainen. It's 3.7 seconds sideways. Jared Pesh has gone joker, splits off behind the barrier now, all to play for. So it's Del Olmo and Tommy Howman on the standard lap. Where is Pesh going to come back in? Behind Olakainen. So Olakainen is close. Pesh was right in the mix here. Olakainen is a threat to Del Olmo, Neil.
So I think Pesh and Howman were squabbling, and Pesh went wide, and he was kind of forced into the joker by whether it was contact or a mistake. So now that's really hampered his overall potential result. And it means that there's a little bit of breathing space for Kilian Del Olmo, but he does have Tommy Hellman who's closing that gap, coming down to almost a second between those two, and they've still both to joker.
Watch for the gap back to Jonna Olakainen, and that's the one that matters. At 4.3, I think they've done enough, so they've edged it out just a little bit. We saw Pesh was a little bit beaten up, which might be why he ended up behind Olakainen. I think the gap would have been enough, but with the contact in the chicane just before the split, Jared Pesh dropped back into the clutches of Jonna Olakainen. Kilian Del Olmo coming down into the chicane on his final lap. Going to split off to the joker lap this time around. Jonna Olakainen you need to watch for on the inside for the merge. But Kilian Del Olmo looking pretty much untroubled. A big sideways drift, and the Dirt 2.0 world champion ties up another title here. The Set Esports driver is crowned champion of World RX's first ever Esports Series in the sim category. Brilliant drive by him. Tommy Howman P2, Jonna Olakainen takes third, and then it's Pesh and Lundqvist. Fantastic drive by Kilian Del Olmo, taking the title before the final even was started. But fantastic to finish it with a proper drive and with a win. He was brave into turn one. Brilliant performance.
Yeah, because of the scoring system, you often, you go into the final as the winner, but still to win the final just proves a point. Emphatic, sort of full stop on the end of an amazing series for Kilian Del Olmo.
Amazing performance as well for Set Esports with a podium lockout here in the last round. So fantastic job by them. Now, we've got one series still to tie up, and of course, that is the Esports Series for the World Rallycross Championship for professional drivers. Tom Blomqvist on the pole from Timmy Hansen, Shane van Gisbergen, Jonathan Paye, and David Perel. And bear in mind, David Perel racing at home. Paye won in Sweden. Shane van Gisbergen won in Abu Dhabi. Tom Blomqvist won in Norway. Timmy Hansen is leading the World Championship, all to play for with one race to go.
Very excited about this. With Table Mountain ahead of them, looking at the ready to race, waiting for the green light, quick reflexes to launch off the line. Ready to race light is on, they know. Within the next 4 seconds, they'll be launching.
Timmy Hansen at a good start. Shane van Gisbergen alongside him. They've managed to edge the inside line there. Hansen going to go deep on the brakes. Van Gisbergen on the handbrake around the outside. Tom Blomqvist drops down to P3 but holds that inside line. Paye's been pushed wide. David Perel down in P5. Paye's on the inside into turn 2. He's alongside Timmy Hansen. It's Van Gisbergen leading from Hansen. Blomqvist looks to the inside. Hansen blocks him on the inside line. Up the inside of Hansen, though, is Paye. Hansen sideways off to the joker lap. Jonathan Paye and Tom Blomqvist have both gone joker on lap 1. David Perel is up in behind Timmy Hansen, but Shane van Gisbergen, I think, out front. What's the gap going to be at the end of lap 1? It's significant. Shane van Gisbergen has a 1.5 second lead over Timmy Hansen. Blomqvist, though, in the title fight has jokered on lap 1.
I wonder if it looked like Jonathan Paye may have dragged Tom Blomqvist with him into the joker. It didn't look necessarily.
Yeah, Blomqvist just passed him, Neil, in turn 1. Yep. Blomqvist making a pass on Paye in turn 1. So Blomqvist now with a bit of clear track in front of him to try and close that gap down to Timmy Hansen. I think Timmy's got enough points gap here, unless he has a disaster and retires, that he won't need to worry too much. But he's made a mistake in the hairpin, Neil. Definitely a bit of pressure here.
Yeah, and that is kryptonite for him, isn't it, that hairpin? Timmy has got 3 more laps to get that right every time.
Oh,
but look, he's under pressure.
Perel having a look up the inside. So Timmy Hansen may be driving here with a little bit in reserve, trying to hold off from making any mistakes. But Blomqvist, look, he's only some 2 seconds off the back of Hansen. So Tom Blomqvist maybe going to beat Timmy Hansen here. Shane van Gisbergen looking to take a second win of the season. Hansen doesn't go joker. This time he's got to get the hairpin right. He runs it all the way around the wall, gets a better exit. David Perel looks super relaxed. Hansen hits the tyre barrier that he hit last year. David Perel alongside him around the outside. Hansen pushes him wide, in tight to the inside on the left and on the right. Perel looks up the inside this time. Brilliant pass. David Perel forces his way past the World Rallycross champion. Timmy Hansen holds on around the outside. He's in the wall as he just misses it. Clips the barrier. David Perel takes P2 from Timmy Hansen with an audacious pass round turn 1. Fantastic move. Blomqvist right with Hansen now.
Move.
Blomqvist has jokered. Blomqvist passing up the inside of Timmy. Puts Timmy in the wall. Timmy Hansen put in the wall by Blomqvist. Blomqvist could take the championship if he wins here, Neil. And Hansen's at the back. I don't know what the points gap is. We might need to wait and see what the points are at the end of this.
Yeah, so I was just referring to David Perel's brilliant sort of a lap and a half he spent trying to reel in Timmy Hansen, and once he'd overtaken him, Timmy was then in the clutches of Tom Blomqvist, and that didn't work out well for the current World Rallycross champion.
Didn't work out at all well. Trying to work out what the points are now to see if we can figure out if this is going to be enough. Shane van Gisbergen, I think, is going to take the win. Oh, there you see now Blomqvist making a pass on Jonathan Paye. A little bit of contact down at the hairpin. Blomqvist is on an absolute mission here to get up towards the front of the pack. He's 5 seconds off the back of Van Gisbergen, so Van Gisbergen's going to take it, and I think that's going to be the difference for the world title. There was nothing in it between Hansen and Blomqvist, maybe a couple of points. When we went to the final, Blomqvist would have needed the win, and for Hansen to have a disaster. Hansen is having a disaster. He hasn't jokered, and when he does, I think he's going to drop behind Jonathan Paye. Final lap, Shane van Gisbergen will be coming out of the joker lap. He's through already. Van Gisbergen takes his second win of the year. Blomqvist is going to take P2. David Perel right with him. Fantastic drive by Blomqvist. Hansen making a pass on the very last straight. As he's come out of the joker, he manages to get past Paye, and Jonathan Paye takes P5. So Shane van Gisbergen takes his second win of the year. He was crossing the line as I thought he'd be coming out of the joker. Miles in front. Tom Blomqvist gets P2. What's key is the points gap between Blomqvist and Hansen, but I'm pretty sure that Timmy Hansen is going to be confirmed as the World RX Esports champion. So we'll get confirmation of those points for you very shortly. That went quite wrong, didn't it, for Timmy Hansen? I bet he'll be very pleased indeed, Neil, that wasn't what happened. What happened last time? We're hearing someone's under investigation.
So
Can we hear
Tom
who's
Blomqvist is under investigation for, I think, at least one of those contacts. I mean, he had a couple of side-by-side contacts with a couple of drivers in that race, so at least one of those is under investigation. But how breathless was that final? Very reminiscent in many, many ways, especially that we're now waiting for, the stewards to make a decision of the final last time in Cape Town last year in November.
Looking at, we're going to be able to take a look at the replays, but with the points as they stand, Hansen would have been 5 points clear coming into that. And so Timmy Hansen, I think, is confirmed as the World RX Esports champion. That's his third championship inside about 7-8 months. Brilliant stuff for Timmy. He'll go into this year as the real-life World Rallycross champion and the Esports World Rallycross champion and the Race of Champions virtual winner too. So great season for Timmy Hansen. Tom Blomqvist, let's take a look back at that moment from this last race. We're going to be able to look at the moment now. Here we go. So this was David Perel with that incredible pass. That was a brilliant pass, I think, Neil. That's probably one of the passes we've seen of the series. And, Timmy knows this circuit in real life and knows how to drive it. That was a great pass. This might be the moment, is it? We're looking for where Blomqvist is under investigation for. He's gone around the outside of Timmy there. No, I think that's just where the car's gripped up. I don't think he's intentionally fired Timmy off. It doesn't matter whether he gets a penalty or not. It's almost irrelevant, Neil, isn't it? It's not like last year where Bakker and Hansen, depending on who got a penalty, was going to decide the World Championship. If you haven't seen it, you need to go and find it. If you're a new viewer to Rallycross, they finished the season level on points. It's only happened a couple of times before in sports car racing where the point scoring is much more complicated. They finished, having battled it out over 196 races, I think it was, during the course of the year. They finished equal on points. It went on countback only after an hour in the steward's room. So it's a brilliant sport, Rallycross. I can't wait to get back to it. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the esports with myself and Neil.
While we wait for the confirmation of whether Tom Blomqvist does get any kind of penalty, the penalty should not affect the overall result. I'm pretty sure we can confirm that Timmy Hansen is the World Rallycross Esports Series champion.
Yeah, we can.
2020.
We can. We have indeed had that come through. And say, regardless of whether Blomqvist gets a penalty or not. So we're just waiting to hear from Race Control now, which is why we keep looking down at our lovely phones. But it's only the same as real life, to be honest, where we're waiting for a message to come through from Race Control, normally telling us whether or not someone's been given a penalty. So it's not too dissimilar.
I've got something ready for the
oh, nice one, Neil.
So,
is that alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Well, have you met me?
I'm hoping it's I'm hoping it's alcoholic, Neil. I'll be very disappointed if it's not.
Yes, it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's not
Little
for me.
celebration.
It's for Timmy and for Killian.
Are you going to post it? It'd be expensive to post that. You'll have to fill a form in. Just drink it. Drink it on there. We will celebrate for you. Killian and Timmy, myself and Neil will have a drink on your behalf here in the UK.
That's how big-hearted we are.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's the job we're willing to do. That is the job we're willing to do. Well, we've got a few minutes before. Here we go. Provisional standings are ready for the World Rallycross Championships Esports Series. Let's take a look. Well, there we go. Then confirmation that Timmy Hansen is indeed the FA World Rallycross Championship Esports Series champion. That's to go with the real-life World Rallycross Championship and, of course, the Race of Champions virtually. Brilliant season for Timmy Hansen, end of last year through to now. And he'll be hoping he can carry that on as the real-life World Rallycross Championship kicks off in Sweden towards the end of August. A fantastic performance by Tom Blomqvist and Shane van Gisbergen, two drivers who don't take part in Rallycross in real life but have been absolutely fantastic on Dirt Rally 2.0. Kevin Hansen coming fourth, just missing out on the podium. Henrik Krogstad from Yellow Squad up in fifth place. Sivert Svardal, Jonathan Pye, the winner from Sweden last time out, and Rokas Bachuska are your top 8. There we are. We're back.
So interestingly, that having missed an entire race weekend, Shane van Gisbergen managed to unfortunately supplant Kevin Hansen off the podium with Kevin's disastrous semi. So maybe we'll be able to get a word with Kevin while we speak to our champion who's sitting next to him, Timmy Hansen.
Yeah, let's have a word with Timmy. They're both there. So yeah, okay. Well, Timmy, we'll start with you. Congratulations. So World Rallycross champion. That's pretty standard. No Brodium, boys. Kevin, you let us down today. What happened? Are you disappointed?
Me? Nah, you mean I mean in the beginning, I think it set me quite a lot back with the server problems. I was never able to get to the inside, which was very important in the start. So I mean that's how it is, and then not my day in the end. But you know, this 282 in the hands of Timmy is just unbeatable. This car. So and with that driver, so it's just amazing. You know, double world champion in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, fantastic performance, Timmy. I mean, you've won everything now. You know, say World Rallycross Championship, you won, of course, the Race of Champions, which Neil was commentating on a couple of weeks ago, and now you've won the Esports Series. So you've set the bar a bit high for 2020, mate.
I have, but 2020 is already gone good then. So I have nothing more to lose. I might as well send it once we get going in real. But no, this feels great. It's been kind of a long off season and being able to do some esports has been a fantastic way to stay alert and stay sharp. Finally, we had, I think, some great rallycross races here in the esports series. Like when I've been looking back at it, it's like it's proper exciting. And yeah, this time again it fell my way. Shane, I think the star of the championship anyway, being so super fast. But no, it came. My car. My car. Yeah.
So,
no, but
Timmy,
it feels amazing.
That court, you know, you have had a lot of moments in that gravel right-hander, the long hairpin. Talk us through, from your perspective, what happened with Tom Blomqvist in that final, because you know it's potentially controversial, the contact. What from your perspective, what happened there?
Yeah, just some curse over that corner, you know, with me and championship deciding final. But anyway, I think I came out second, and I thought I was in a good position. And from there on, I thought like, okay, I'm just gonna relax and take this home. This will be good. But in esports, you can't really do 99%. It's like either you do 100 flat out as much as you can, or it won't go well. And it wasn't my best run in the final in the end. And of course, Tom knew he needed to win that final, so he did everything he could. And yeah, I know what it feels like to go for the gap. This time it didn't go in his way. Last time it went in my way. You know, but it's racing. Rallycross is tough, and those things are gonna happen. And yeah, I was on the good side again today, and I'm grateful for that. I'm happy for what you guys have done to put together this series. So we've been entertained. We've been able to get some adrenaline here. And
I mean, my heart has been racing like crazy. It's not good for me.
So yeah, now I'm gonna go celebrate this. And next up is, of course, the real World RX in Sweden in a couple of weeks' time. So we're gonna be busy preparing for that.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. We're starting the series with back-to-back races, Timmy. Of course, Sweden, which you guys are really familiar with, even from last weekend. And then we actually go to Kuvula in Finland. And I think the last time you went there, you weren't a very experienced rallycross driver. Did you end up rolling as well? Was that 2014?
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to go for a gap there also, like when I rolled, but I guess I've learned a couple of things since then. And no, the first times I was there, that was the track that I did my first ever rallycross race at, and I did horribly bad in all the fights. And looking at what's happened now in the end, it's an amazing journey that it's been. So yeah, I'm looking forward to go back to Kuvula. It's one of the best tracks. Of course, Höljes is a classic, but I think Kuvula is up there too. And with those double header weekends, it's gonna be extremely tough work for the whole team. You know, we're not allowed to be many people, although in our case we're the same amount as last year. But anyway, like, you know, we're reduced into not being very many people, and we have to do a lot of racing. So it's gonna be tough mentally for us drivers, and I think physically and mentally for the rest of the teams as well. So we have a big challenge to prepare for. But I mean, we've rested everyone for a long time now, so it's about time we get going.
Yeah, it's about time. Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, thank you so much, guys. Much appreciated, and congratulations on your championship, Timmy. And we'll see you at Höljes in real life in a few weeks' time. Take care, guys.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Hey, Dor.
Neil Cole, thanks so much, mate. It's been a pleasure working with you on the Esports Series. We're done. We're out here. About time to head back to the track. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Are you going to take the dog for a walk now, or what's next? What happens?
He's gone. The dog's gone. I was
Oh.
going to give him one last goodbye on the esports series, but unfortunately, he's checked out already. Yogi's gone. He's left the building. I'm going to be leaving the building as well. My thanks to Neil Cole. Our thanks as well to Motorsport Games Codemasters for their fantastic Dirt Rally 2.0, Monster Energy Gaming, Game Bite, and Cooper Tires. We hope you guys have enjoyed the World Rallycross Championships esports series. We'll be back with a real thing very soon. We'll see you trackside.